아쉽기도 해요. 서머 시즌에는 그 다전제를 좀 경험해보고 싶어요.
제일 잘하는 탑딜러가 되고 싶다고 약간 많이 말하고 다녔거든요. 좀 더 공격적인 그런 모습을 많이 보여주고 싶은 마음이 좀 많아요. 서머 때는 더 나아진 모습으로 뵙고 싶네요.
제 개인적인 목표는 제일 잘하는 서포터가 되고 싶어요. 마타 선수가 우상인데 이번 롤드컵에 꼭 진출해서 우승하고 새치포 소리를 듣고 싶습니다.
좀 많아요. 서머 때는 더 나아진 모습으로 뵙고 싶네요.
저는 되게
제
만족스러운 것
개인적인
같아요.
목표는 제일 잘하는 서포터.
결승전까지 가볼 수 있는 그런 성적이 나왔으면 좋겠어요.
개인적인 목표는 플레이오프에 진출하는 게 목표고요.
레인저 선수랑 같이 하게 되는데 강하는 바텀이라는 걸 보여드리고 싶고
스프링 시즌보다 훨씬 더 좋은 경기력으로 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다.
승강전이라는 게 되게 힘들었었고 쉽지 않았던 시즌이었지 않나.
다시 LCK 무대를 밟게 돼서 너무 행복했어요.
팀이 나를 믿고 따라줄 수 있는 약간 그런 선수가 되고 싶어요.
신생 팀답지 않은 경기력으로 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Summer 2020. I'm Atlas, joined by the Valdanalist here for our final match of the night. I apologize, we started a little bit late here because our first series went so long. Congratulations to Afrika for once again walking away with a 2-1 victory, but now it is time for both T1 and Humble Life's revenge after their first matches were a little bit disappointing. Both teams falling 1-2 in their first outings. And we'll see whether T1 have something in store for us, because it's not what we're expecting out of our LCK Spring Champions.
Yeah, I mean, their first games, their first series were a bit disappointing for both teams, and I feel like they were disappointing in different ways, right? T1 was going up against one of the strongest teams currently in Korea. They fell a little bit short, but they came close, right? They did take one game off of DRX, and they've defeated them in the past. We expect more, even so, from T1. Whereas Humble Life went down to... Sorry, Prince, and it was
SPP.
It was kind of all over the place. I mean, they brought in a bunch of rookies to sub for the top side, and their veterans did not play very well. Speaking of Cuvée and Haru up at the top side, and so even the mid lane too, Lava didn't have a great series. As we're seeing here in one of our points of the match, how is Humble Life going to deal with Faker is a really, you know, it's a great question.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why the DRX series was so hard for T1 is because Chovy exists, right? And he has been performing extraordinarily well. Not to mention Carrier being, you know, arguably the best support in the world at the moment. He is playing out of his mind levels of good. But I think Faker is going to have a much better time here today because, you know, Tempt is no longer on the roster. Tempt had a lot of experience against Faker. Lava, not quite so much. But I don't know whether you guys have heard the whisperings, but there has been, some changes when it comes to the rosters of both of these teams moving into this particular match. So we're not going to spoil anything just yet, but let me just say that some eyebrows were perched a little bit higher than they otherwise would be after having a look at the starting rosters for today.
Yes, definitely some uncomfortable eyebrows for sure, but we'll see how comfortable they get after watching the play of the two players that are being subbed in and subbed out.
Wow, we are getting real deep into
one
spoilers.
for each team. You guys can find it on Twitter.
Remember, last time out, T1 lost to Hanwha in their first round robin. So looking forward to seeing whether T1 are going to make the same mistakes again. Remember, I believe that was their first match of the season as well, or one of their first matches. T1 actually fell down 0-2, I believe, in the first week. So match 5.
It was either their first or second.
Yeah, it had to have been either their first or second, right? If it was the 5th match of the season. So, very even as far as 2020 is concerned, and we'll see whether T1 are going to be able to bounce back or whether Hanwha are going to find themselves some stride. Because remember, at the end of the season, things didn't look so good. So let's hear what the players had to say to
저희가
each other.
강팀 상대로 강하다는 이야기가 있는데
하나가 굉장히 변칙적으로 플레이를 하는 것을 좋아하기 때문에 강팀 상대로 성적이 좋았던 것 같은데 오히려 하나 팀의 플레이 스타일을 이제 더 잘 알기 때문에 좀 더 쉽게 이길 거라고 생각합니다. 그때보다는.
진짜 강팀 판독기가 아니라 저희가 강팀이 될 수 있게
고개를 안 숙이게 열심히 해야 될 것 같습니다.
바텀이 가장 핵심 라인인 것 같아요.
작년부터 이제 바이퍼 리엔즈 선수가 계속 정규 시즌 1등 했잖아요. 그래서 굉장히 강한 바텀 듀오라고 생각해서 일단 리엔즈 선수가 또 친해가지고 지면 안 되기 때문에.
테디 선수 머리가 진짜 크거든요. 진짜 매 달마다 커지거든요. 그래서 빨리 테디 선수 머리를 보고 싶습니다.
일단 머리가 크긴 하고요. 슈를 보면 좀 웃긴 게 약간 맨날 원숭이상이라고 제가 놀리거든요. 원숭이 닮았다고.
네, 테디 선수가 야수 한 번만 더 해줬으면 좋겠어요.
제가 야소할 수도 있고요. 저쪽에서도 이제 달리아 판테온이라는 챔피언을 좀 더 생각이 있나 궁금하네요. 네.
판테온 탈리아. 판테온 탈리아는 웬만하면 안 할 것 같아요. 네. 저 이제 거기서 느낀 게 많아서. 네.
뭐 야소를 하든 뭐 다른 챔프를 하든 뭘 해도 이길 것 같아요. 작년 스프링 결승이었나? 아니, 저희를 쉽게 이긴다 했는데 저희한테 쉽게 졌더라고요. 그래서 그 자신감은 또 자만일 때도 또 있어가지고 자신감이 넘치지 않나 우리 시도가. 그 자만을 좀 꺾어줘야겠네.
테디야, 작년에 잘했는데 이번 연도엔 좀 아쉽더라. 재밌는 경기 하자.
하나생명 리빌딩도 많이 되고 그래서 저희는 이제 되게 호흡도 잘 맞는 단계이기 때문에 깔끔하게 2대0으로 이기도록 하겠습니다.
누가 이기든 2대1로 이기지 않을까. T1이 뭐 저희에게 져도 절대 부끄러운 게 아니니까 고개 잘 들었으면 좋겠네요.
저희 팀은 아마 고개를 숙이진 않을 것 같아요. 고개를 숙이는 건 아마 하나생명이 되지 않을까.
T1이 상대적으로 강팀인데 되게 잡으면 또 재밌잖아요. 네, 재밌는 모습 많이 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
저희가 이길 거니까 그럴 일은 없을 것 같습니다.
스프링 때도 하나생명이 T1에게 좀 스크래치를 냈듯이 이번엔 진짜 아픈 상처를 한번 제대로 한번 내보겠습니다.
Some friendly banter between, friends here as far as the trash talk was concerned. I think T1 definitely feeling confident here, but they have to also feel pretty wounded as there you go. There's your first surprise. Effort not going to be playing its longtime trainee, Curry, who's going to be heading towards that bottom lane alongside Teddy. So, not sure why Effort got subbed out. He was performing relatively well, although didn't have his greatest series, but he was against Carrier, and that makes it relatively difficult.
I don't think losing to Korea deserves you a chance to get subbed out, but they want to give Korea a chance. Who, by the way, he was named after Charlotte Katakuri from One Piece. I've never seen that anime, but I know it's very popular. You guys might know of it. And over here, yeah, I haven't seen it. Of course I haven't.
Perfect.
And over here, lots of changes. Dudu is coming back. So is the Canadian dollar CAD, and then Miru in the mid lane. I guess we could call him Miru.
Yeah, I think Miru is probably easier for me, but I think Miru is probably how it's pronounced.
Yes.
Officially, Vibrant Lahens, of course, no strangers there. His key player is going to be Canna. The man has got some pretty good stats thus far, and he lost on his Kale, but it did look pretty good until the game sort of was lost around him. I think a lot of the issues with that game had to do with him not necessarily playing as one with his team, so I expect that Coach Kim's probably had a bit of a conversation with Canna about that, and we're going to see a different performance here today.
Yeah. To be honest with you guys, I feel like he is being highlighted here because of his high numbers in the first series, but we'll see if he can keep those up as he is going to be going up. Oh, well, his team is going to be going up against Viper in the 80 carry role here, who also has some nice numbers of his own, even though Hamolife did lose in 3 games to Sadewan Prince. He did have the most damage per minute out of any 80 carry, which is quite nice.
absolutely insane. Highest damage percentage as well as far as his team, so certainly carrying a lot is good old Viper. It has a lot to do with the fact that Lehens was given Yuumi multiple games in a row,
Yeah.
which was crazy
Like
because they
what?
lost the series as well. So
Yeah.
certainly not able to capitalize on that one. As we're having a look at Curry here making his debut. It's so interesting because it feels like they're just subbing everyone out. It's Faker that's the only one that hasn't been dropped. Of course, Effort
Yeah.
has been on the team for a very long time. He's second longest standing member of T1, still there behind Faker. So we have finally seen the full change-up of almost everyone
Yeah.
outside of the Demon King in the mid lane.
And we did give a little bit of background on Kuri, but Miru himself, that's actually the pure Korean word for dragon. He is born in the year of the dragon, 2001.
Oh my god,
And
I'm
his
born in the year
favorite-
of the dragon.
Yes, but not
1988.
2001. Boomer.
Oh, it's so depressing.
I don't know if I can call you a boomer when I'm only 3 years younger than you.
Yeah.
I don't think it works that way. Boomer is a mindset, actually.
In my mind, I'm 12. Don't you worry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's why we cast video games for children.
All cast video games like children. One of the two.
Yeah.
Here we are in Pick and Ban to save us from that conversation as T1 will be on the blue side. Humble Life going to be on the red. And the first ban will be the Yuumi. So we're just not playing into any of those shenanigans. As Yuumi set to be followed up by, of course, the quintessential Varus ban. Obviously, a thing that you have to do. And let us count the... Okay, well, never mind. Ezreal has been banned away, and Humble Life don't have to deal with the rock, paper, scissors.
Aphelios? Ban, maybe? Well, I don't know. They have first picks.
I mean,
Maybe they're not
Callista
gonna
is
ban it.
also something to talk about.
Yeah.
And Karma is, I think, a huge deal.
Karma definitely has been seeing a lot of priority nowadays with how much value she just adds to her team. She's not going to destroy lane, but she is going to just boost your team heavily in the mid to late stages with her very cheap item build and supportive abilities to shield everyone. Everybody knows about Karma, and they are actually going to ban it. So they're looking for a different first pick here. Maybe it'll be Trundle. We've
Yeah.
seen a lot of teams highlight the Trundle, and neither of those, Trundle or Aphelios, are going to be banned out here.
Callista is available as well. She was perma-banned in our first series and has received a lot of attention. And that is what T1 are going to go towards. It looks like they are valuing Teddy's Callista. I think this is actually very different to a lot of people's Callistas. Teddy's Callista feels like a late-game hyper carry when...
TF.
Oh, okay.
Forgot
TF
about
was left-
him.
Yep, he was left open. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense.
He was banned every game in our first
Ooh,
series.
someone was watching our first series.
Yeah. What else is new? Aphelios, Trundle. I bet you're also going to pick Nautilus. Very original, sirs.
Now, T1 have got it. They now can pick Callista Nautilus.
Whoa.
And then, what does Humble Life do? You can't pick Nautilus. It's all over.
Thresh, I feel like, is also good, but Nautilus definitely another one of those friends of Callista.
Callista Tarot could also just be locked in here if T1 wanted to.
Now, we have a couple of champions that Curry is good at. We see Bard, Yuumi, Thresh. I don't think we'll see the Bard picked.
I mean, Thresh
Callista.
could happen, I guess, but that does leave Nautilus available.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to pick Nautilus.
It's great for counterpicking. It really depends on how much they value, you know, certain other Callista lanes versus wanting to take it away. Or they could wait
All right.
and
T1,
prioritize Nidalee.
what they've done is they've absorbed the powers of DRX, because I believe DRX played a very similar comp against them. With the Nidalee and Twisted Fate especially, was something that worked out for DRX quite well. So they've taken a leaf out of that book. Of course, Cuz is a legacy Nidalee player. He played Nidalee off meta all the time. And Faker needs no introduction when it comes to playing Twisted Fate. When you've been playing professionally since, you know, a very, very long time ago, 2013, you've probably been in a few Twisted Fate metas. That's just how it works. As the Nautilus is going to be banned away on Humble Life side. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they could have left that available for themselves to pick on R4 or to get T1 to ban it away. But I guess Lehens was not really feeling playing a Nautilus this time around. Ornn also going to be taken off. You think about Syndra for mid-game power, Aphelios for mid to late game power, and then Ornn to accelerate that.
Also, Ornn being paired with Trundle is something that can be very difficult to deal with because it's hard to match tank for tank when your tank's going to have all of his resistances removed. Aatrox is going to be taken off the board. Just a pretty standard one, as the Wukong is going to be the answer. So topside centric outside of the Nautilus, as Viper is thinking about what to grab for Lehens. Now, Lehens we know as being more of an enchanter support centric type player, so you can understand why he doesn't necessarily want to play the Nautilus. But as I say that, Thresh is being hovered and will be locked in for a lot of repositioning. I actually think Lantern has gigantic value when you have both Aphelios and the Syndra. Imagine debuting in the LCK on Blitzcrank.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that. I think he'd gain a lot of fans. And it doesn't seem half bad when you consider if you hook Aphelios, he just dies. If you hook Syndra, she just dies. And, I mean, he's getting a lot of value. He can be very good in the lane up against Aphelios Thresh. I actually do like the pick. Blitzcrank is very niche. We rarely see him. But in certain spots like this, I don't mind it.
It's also not as dangerous when paired with the Kallisto. So it does work out very well. A blind Camille would be crazy, but I do like it. Think about the split push potential of this composition out of T1 with Twisted Fate and Camille both in side lanes. And that's playing with your composition face up, but of course you have to once you've locked everything in. And it's going to be Mordekaiser as the option into the Camille. Not sure about that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it will do decently earlier on, but as you were mentioning, that split pushing power, I think Mordekaiser can kind of get overwhelmed eventually if they're just running down the lane with one or two of them. But certainly will have some value in team fights when it comes to it. There's a lot of squishy members that don't have too much mobility that you could try to lock down. Obviously, Nidalee, in terms of like locking her down and then just essentially blowing her up in a team fight would be great because you also do deny the smite. So don't think it's that bad that they do last pick that one there.
Yep. Kesman, Coach Kim, walk on out. And here we go. This is going to be your pick split push style composition from T1, Blitzcrank, and the Kallisto on the bottom side, TF, Nidalee, and then Camille on the top. And I feel like this is largely a finesse composition. You really do need to understand exactly how to make this comp work, but certainly T1 are a team that should be able to figure that one out. And on the side of Humble Life, it's like this is a slow-moving juggernaut of destruction. And they do want a team fight. Definitely easier to play. But certainly does have a lot of nuance, but it is more about the 5v5.
Yeah, that is for sure. Will we see another Aphelios destroy the Rift, as we saw earlier on today, is another question. Can they overcome Teddy and Kuri this time down in the bottom side?
Yeah. Also debuting on Blitzcrank, Kuri certainly knows how to fan service. Absolutely fantastic. As Ward goes down very early, and immediately Viper vacates the area. I do like the decision. As,
man.
That's dicey.
That's a pretty popular ward spot, too. I'm surprised they didn't at least, you know, just walk over, try to deny it.
Yeah, well, that ward is going to spot Lehens moving on into the enemy jungle.
They ping it. They know.
Yeah,
they know they're
yeah.
spotted. The second he just waltzes into her jungle and puts down a ward, it's like, oh, okay, they know we're here. So
they need to spawn. So Canada's going to move back towards the top side. He's taking Grasp of the Undying in this matchup. Fearing the Mordekaiser makes a bit of sense. He is a gigantic walking suit of armor. Very scary. Does have a lot of heavy metal names, things like that. As, once again, if at first you don't succeed, walk over the ward again and again and again. This might just be a play understanding that they do know exactly where the blue buff is, but they also know that there's no way that Humble Life can actually respond as CAD, or the Canadian dollar, as you do like to call him.
It's in all caps in the game, so that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Faker did miss one melee minion of XP. So, GG. No, but it's
Oh, first hook lands as Lehens will take a fair bit of damage here as the Ren does come in. Viper will win the trade. Just Felio's things, I guess. So the minion's doing a fair bit of work there as tactical sweep on to Dudu. And Canna actually, he performed very well in the Camille. That was the game that they won, I believe, against DRX.
Yeah.
So a comfort matchup, or at least a comfort pick for him. I don't know whether the Mordekaiser is necessarily the best option here. As level 2 gained by Teddy. Curry a little bit behind as far as EXP, but does get it in the next minion's time.
I think this is... So it's showing their birth dates and also their debut dates. So birth dates are on top, debut dates are on the bottom.
Yep, Cad, very young, by the way, guys. As you can see, as Dudu gets his passive, starts thwacking onto Canna. Not exactly the healthiest of Mordekaisers, though. Still, in control of the wave, but pushed up very far. We'll see whether Cuz is going to make an entrance. This was the pick that Cuz was famous for before he even joined Kingzone, well back in the day. He was destroying solo queue on picks like the Nidalee. Although when he joined Kingzone, he was playing Zac almost every game.
Yeah. A different look.
It was.
For that player. And even after joining T1, I feel like only now, finally, is he giving some reign to try some other picks. With the Nidalee and stuff like that coming out here more into the meta. And it seems to be becoming more and more of a a meta pick against the Trundle. People are trying to figure out, how do we deal with this Trundle that is just really annoying to play against. It's not very obvious why he's so good, but he's just so often picked by all of these LCK teams especially.
Yeah, I think he does warp compositions because you do have to respect the subjugate. And not being able to freely pick a tank is quite difficult. As Curry and Teddy just bouncing around this lane so far. No issues, apart from the fact that Teddy has a 10 CS advantage for some reason. We saw a bit of zoning level 1 and 2, largely to do with that first hook landing here on Curry's side. He's also taken Ignite. There is no heal in this bottom lane.
Yeah.
Curry and Teddy very intent on killing their opponents.
And I feel like almost every Blitzcrank that plays in LCK Pro Play, at least, uses this skin. Is there...
No, I think every Blitzcrank just uses this skin.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, like, is there some reason why that skin might be better than some other skin?
I don't think it's like the iBlitzcrank situation.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right. Rocking a hard place. It's where Dudu is, and there's the gold card. First Blood goes over to Canna. Faker easily tanks up the turret. He'll take himself a plate as well. And Mirror's just in the mid lane wondering what the heck he's supposed to do about it. He is ahead 10 CS, but that was a great first gank here, and Faker's not even level 6 yet. So he's going to be able to do that next level without even using a summoner spell.
Yeah, very nice gank, very straightforward. The jungler of Humalife is down here towards the bottom side. They're going to trade the initial Ocean Drake here off the map for that play because jungle and mid all went top on the side of T1. So a bit of a trade, but it gets your split push Camille ahead, and it is just the one Ocean Drake, so I think this is absolutely a win for T1, no question there. Yep, as we're gonna see, you see they're gonna just wait until they have the hard CC. They're not even gonna bother taking a chance because they don't need to. It gives you the free spear into the nice leap power, and then Camille can do her thing too. So very straightforward on the kill under the turret.
Yep, Faker now not too far behind as far as EXP as well, as they're going back top lane. Faker doesn't care about that minion wave whatsoever. As the Obliterate comes in, I believe he did have Death Realm, and Canna's in there at the moment, but they just waited out. And the Mordekaiser's dead again.
Yeah, he had Flash that time around, but the second the TP came in right behind him, he's like, well, I can't Flash out of this. But it might have been better to Flash under turret and then Death Realm. So that would be really his only chance of survival there. Definitely rough stuff when you're up against TF. This is part of the reason, one of the many, many reasons why teams have picked up TF in recent times. And Hamalife are going to look for their... Well, okay, never mind.
Interesting.
Seems like...
Teddy hadn't actually oath-sworn Courier as, yeah, the robot. It is the Mad Life skin, by the way, guys. That's largely to do with why a lot of...
You think that's the reason?
I think it might be. You see Mad Life playing with this skin almost every single time. Very old one. Been around for a real long time, is that hook. Does go wide. Hook in trade for the Lantern.
내가 볼게 이거. 이거 안 되고 본다 이거. 잠깐만 아직. 탑 본다. 탑 잡았어. 아래 조심. 천천히. 아 밖에 우리만 있어. 밖에 좋아. 밖에 좋아.
It's only us up on...
아 잡았어.
outside.
푸른.
Well done. Meanwhile, stealing all of Kana's CS while it's in the death chamber. Nicely done.
He sort of had to because he sacrificed an entire minion wave as he moved up towards top lane. And so it did mean that Faker didn't want to sacrifice his laning experience too much. But easily gets all of that farm. And 1-0-1 means that he's absolutely fine. Moonlight Vigil lands on the bottom side. With Gravitum there available, Teddy does have to use his cleanse. And they get 2 summoner spells out of the Callista. Definitely good news is this is just getting cruel.
Death Realm not up right now.
Yeah, Dudu just not having a good time. Just gets stunned and destroyed all too easily. And Cuz will take down Shelly in the meantime. It's looking like a bit of a shellacking to start off with here, Valdanalist.
Yeah, and there's not really a lot of analysis that I can say about that either. It's just zero help on the top side. They go for this gank down the lane with level 5 Trundle onto a Callista that has Flash and Cleanse, right? Roots aren't going to do it. You either need to get the hook into, you know, the Gravitum, into multiple CCs to make that work. And even then, it's kind of risky. Same time, you're kind of leaving your Mordekaiser out to dry after he also already died twice. And he's pushing up a little bit too far as well. Not really giving enough respect to the current lane state. But now he has, well, he could have set up a nice little freeze for, you know, to really draw in Faker and Kana to get on in there. And I feel like I have to say it because LS isn't here. But what is the point of pushing that back? Because
then you definitely can't go near
then you, yeah, you're totally left out on an island if you push that lane out. So
well,
I don't
see,
know about that.
He took the Crocs. That was what he decided to do.
Great. He could have done that while, you know, the lane was pushing into him.
Yep. P.S. Destiny is available once again. The Mordekaiser doesn't have a turret. Faker can easily move up and take that one down if he would like to. However, Hamalife do make their way into the T1 jungle. Cuz here as well, trying to make sure that his chickens don't get stolen. And they don't, the big one at least. As T1 have a 3,000 gold lead. Teddy by himself here, as Curry's making his way back into this lane, but looks like Teddy's not too worried about it. And level 7 now gained, Blade of the Ruin King pretty close. And Cad's gonna come down and see what he can do.
Yeah, Hamalife have this, you know, the early game has not been treating them very well because of the overall oppression of the Twisted Fate and the lack of response from Hamalife. But they did get that first Ocean Drake, so if they can rush this down and try to get out of there without losing too much and they can extend into potentially getting a soul, maybe then they might be able to come back in this one. It's one of their, you know, best bets for the current game state, which is obviously not very good for them right now. So it is going to be that Mountain Soul that is on the cards here, as T1 didn't necessarily get into position to hard answer, I suppose, or counter the Dragon Take, and they will just give that one over to Hanwha. Not too concerned.
Yeah, like it. Dudu actually walking all the way down there will have his teleport available in a couple of seconds, but that's a Trinity Force, guys. We're 11 minutes into the game. Kana has a Trinity Force. I don't know. They Hamalife need to do something desperately.
They need to do something.
Yeah,
Yeah, they need to do-do-dunga something for sure right now. That's their only chance.
Yeah, because Dudu is definitely a bit of a don't at this point.
Oh.
It's not working. That's what happens, you know. Mordekaiser is a pretty gankable champion, especially pre-6. But once he falls behind, I mean, what else is he supposed to do, I guess is the question. As Faker trying to avoid the orbs. He's not too worried about the situation. Rod of Ages is already completed. This counter is pushed underneath an inner turret now. And Curry is just lying in wait, ready for a potential rocket grab.
Wow. You can ward that brush from there?
Yeah, that's cool.
I actually didn't know that. I feel like I should know that. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that actually did reach the brush. That's a nice little ward. Right up against the wall.
Interestingly enough, T1 have about 1 billion wards on the bot side of the map. Mountain Drake isn't up for another 3 minutes time, however. And we'll see whether that just means that they're trying to make sure Teddy can get as much farm as safely as possible until his flash comes back up again, or what that is. But I have a feeling that T1 aren't going to be giving away another Drake without a fight. As Death Room comes down, Canna actually not surviving too well outside of that. But now, in comes Cad. There's the bad news for Canna. Easily, Cad just walks on over. So a little bit of an overextension there from Canna. Cost him his life.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I think if you see the Mordekaiser getting that aggressive, you have to know that Trundle is coming or Syndra's coming, so I think you should save your hook shot. And then Dudu pushes out for some reason. I don't know. He's obsessed with pushing the lane, and he is going to give another kill over after... Oh, well, I guess he didn't get the kill, so he didn't reset his gold, but...
He was showing Canna that he could overextend better.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think you can overextend? Watch this.
Yeah. It's probably not the best thing to be the best at.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just all about the competition, though, and you just get a little bit overwhelmed.
Sure.
As Cuz, let's see who wins this popcorn chicken fight, as it somehow goes to Cuz. Finds himself the spear onto Cat as well. As Faker, he's got his Sheen, and he's just looking to get to work on an inner turret in the top lane. As maybe Faker's joined the competition as well.
He is now that lane pusher, although it does look like they might switch it up now. It's 2 levels up.
Ooh, sidestep was really nice.
Yeah.
Scanner's going to turn up as well. Hextech Ultimatum at the ready. Didn't actually use it in that last fight. This Cuz is 2 levels ahead of Cad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Cad spent a lot of the early game hanging around bot side. It's part of the reason why he was able to focus down the Drakes and get them the 2 Drakes, but it did mean that he wasn't participating in a lot of kills and lost a bunch of farm. So he hook shots here, and I'm thinking, I don't know, you gotta know that someone's coming at this point if Dudu's getting this aggressive. But
I mean, he was in the death realm, so...
But you can wait until you're out, potentially, because that might be one of your only chances to get out. But I do understand that line of thinking, too, because he's really far ahead, and he's like, well, maybe I could trade onto him or something, but either way, it does end up being the kill given to the Trundle. Spares him a little bit of the blushes of the way that this jungle matchup has been going.
Yep, Shelly and Shelly both collected here by Cuz. 15.5 minutes into this one, and T1 retain close to 3,000 gold lead. Faker is very close to a Lich Bane as well. He is very, very rich. As we have a look at the gold, he's only ahead 700 over Miru, but Miru was sitting in that mid lane just farming things out. Currently has close to a 20 CS lead. It doesn't matter. It's not actually going to put you in the lead.
Yeah. You mentioned how T1's comp, it requires a bit more finesse to pilot. You need to be doing some small things very well, and that means a lot of roaming early game, a lot of ganking side lanes and stuff like that, at least in the early game for a comp like this. They did it really well, whereas, okay, just gonna flash away from that one. I feel like Come Alive was just trying to, get the basics down. They're like, okay, I'm a jungler, I'm going to get the dragons for my team, and they kind of let a lot of other things fall by the wayside as T1 has been controlling the map for the most part outside of this dragon pit. But as you mentioned, they're not going to let this one go down without a fight.
Yeah, remember this is a split push comp. That's why you see Faker here on the bottom side, just destroying turrets while the rest of the team is milling about. And if Harmor Life don't make quick decisions, they need to be decisive. in this game. Otherwise, things will just slowly fall away from them. This is going to be a 50-50 though, as there's the Destiny. In goes Curry. We'll see who steals it, and it is going to be Cuz. As Curry goes in, 4-man knock-up, and Teddy doing so much damage. Curry is going to fall down, but the Mordekaiser is already dead. Canna secures that kill, and yeah, it's 1-for-1, but no soul point available for Harmwell Live. As T1 pick up their first Drake.
Yeah, perfect timing to collapse there. They get on in, and the spear, I think, actually was what did it for Cuz. Maybe he was the one who smited it right before the spear. Either way, a good combo for him to steal the Drake. So we're going to get another look at it here. He just positions himself right in the pit where there is no pressure. And
wow, yeah, it was, I think.
Yeah, it was his smite. So we didn't even see a smite out of CAD. And then Curry that was a great play, right? Throwing himself in, but the thing is the rest of his team was focusing down the Mordekaiser, because that's who they like to bully, not the rest of the team.
But also at that point, like, the Mordekaiser, I guess he's 0-5, so he doesn't really do so much, so I guess my point is kind of moot, but dealing with him is definitely good, and distracting the rest of the players is certainly also positive, as Viper steals away his own red buff. And I say steal because I feel like the jungle on Harmwell Live's side of the map does not belong to them anymore.
Yeah. I think if you're T1 here, the main thing you want to focus on is getting another kill onto the Mordekaiser. That would be my main word of advice. I think 5 kills on the rookie isn't enough. If you really want to get in his head, maybe 6 or 7 is a bit
you
better.
need to give him the full Nuggery treatment and see how he comes out of it. Nuggery passed that test. He seems to enjoy dying multiple times, and is still a happy boy. Goes into the next game completely unfazed. As Teddy takes a few extra chakrams that he didn't necessarily want. Faker over here will just collect his blue buff. But you can see the SKT vision. Oh. How sad.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Wow. He's just going to give up on that. He's like, actually, never mind. I'm just going to go top.
Well, I mean, that mini wave was about to die to the turret, so it does mean that he gets to extend the duration of that blue buff. It also delays the next one, so that's awesome, of course. Dudu is under a turret. That is definitely good news. And Death Realm does deter people from diving him, because of course then you have to deal with a guaranteed Tower and Mordekaiser versus 1. Faker's got 8 stacks on his Rod of Ages. Lichbane is completed. Got massive stacks of control wards in the back pockets of the T1 players, and it looks like they're not even that pressured to put them down, because Hanwha haven't been able to sweep their vision for a very long time. It's that suffocation that we talk about. You can see Faker's on the top side, you've got Camille on the bottom side, and Faker and Canna are just going to split push this game to the point where they're going to be so far ahead in gold. As T1 will just take down turrets. They'll keep getting side lane farm. TF cheats when it comes to side lane farm anyway and gets way more money for it. And Faker, of course, is a very good player, so he rolls very high when it comes to the stack deck.
True. He's getting a lot of gold there for sure.
It's very similar to the redemption effect of a Zoe player.
Yes.
If you're a good Zoe player, you get it at levels 4 every single game.
Yes. Also, Protobelts, Ignites, good stuff like that.
Yes.
Not Ghosts. I mean, Ghosts, you know.
You get Super Soakers as well.
Yeah,
Lots
true,
of Super
true. There's a big difference, by the way, if you guys, you know, we were harping on, actually, about the Aphelios effect in the first series, but that was against a composition that didn't really play around Aphelios. They wanted to play, like, directly into him with stuff like Graves and Leona, and it didn't go very well for Fed Aphelios's. And Viper sitting here, he had a relatively good laning phase that, in the very early game, it wasn't great. But now they're feeding him a bunch of farm. He does have 1 kill, one of the 2 that his team has. And you're thinking, oh, maybe the Aphelios effect is going to come in here. But this is a totally different composition that he's playing against. He has to go against split pushing. T1, I don't think, is ever going to try to go for a straight-up 5v5. They have the ability to pick with Blitzcrank, but I don't think they're going to be, you know, sending Camille into the back line, and, you know, that just doesn't, that's not the identity of their composition.
It's a split push gun, and that's exactly what works. Like you were saying, against the Aphelios. I think it's genius to, instead of saying, well, I guess we'll ban this and that's going to be our strategy, instead understand exactly what the champion's supposed to do and capitalize on it, right? I think that it's really, really cool. So thank you to Afrika and Team Dynamics for putting the idea into Humble Life's head. You just pick Aphelios and then you win. It's not how that one works. They do need Nautilus, so unfortunately didn't have that, as Destiny has been popped. Looks like T1 still want to deny Soul Point. Canna here towards the bottom side. And there's the Destiny. Faker gets down south of the Dragon. Wildcard starting to do a bit of damage here, as we'll see whether Cuz can get another steal. There's the Fate's Call as Miru flashes onto Cuz and takes him down. But the Drake is going to reset as Humble Life lose 2 in the process.
Pretty wonky there. I think that was some... that was like a crazy pull. Yeah.
Canna actually just teleported up there, so he was in the last fight, but that's definitely an ambitious teleport. They do get the teleport out of Dudu, though.
Yeah. He's like, maybe I have to help around the Dragon. Oh, well, maybe not. I'm just going to TP up here with the lane that I set up to potentially take down this turret.
Yeah, also means that T1 guarantee this Drake because Dudu teleported. I think it's actually a brilliant idea for Canna to get up there, because as soon as they use the teleport to stop the inhibitor turret going down, then they guarantee that they're not going to be getting back for a potential Drake fight.
That's...
okay.
You can do that, by the way. The Fate's Call with the pull.
Yep.
And it's like, oh.
The ultra reposition. Unfortunately, you know, having a Syndra right on top of your Callista is probably not necessarily what you want ideally.
Yeah.
As Faker avoiding some orbs, gets rid of the first one, now lands himself the gold card, and Humble Life realized that they're not going to be able to chase after. Good old Twist of Fate with his Nikes on. His cowboy boots, man, they're pretty good.
For sure. He's just having fun with the Syndra in the side lane. TF, not very weak to the Syndra, but players or champions such as Nidalee and Callista, as you're mentioning, can sometimes succumb to the insane burst damage that she does have. I do like the stopwatch pickup from Cuz after he just got bombed in the last one, just to make sure he can survive in the next fight.
Does have his Rod of Ages, started to stack a little bit earlier than the 30-minute one that Spirit put together. You have to remember, Spirit won that game, so it must have been a good idea.
Yes.
Baron has been
Results
scouted.
showed it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's...
I've always been told that results-based analysis is the best kind of analysis.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right. T1 clearing out vision once again. Just keeping this suffocation line, basically moving up the streetlights. Sort of what it goes. Like they go each block further and further forward. And it means that they know exactly where everyone is at all times. This bottom side is working out relatively well here for T1. For Humble Life. As far as ward positioning, with the blue buff is something that Mirror is not going to be able to go anywhere near, even if it is just Teddy in the area, because they just don't have the information that they want. Faker secures that very comfortably and then moves back towards the split push once again. And you know what? This is actually just, it's such a treat to watch T1 play like this after how messy the DRX series was.
Yeah, they've certainly cleaned things up. The early game was crystal clean, and Hama really didn't have much of a response to it, so that's part of the reason why T1 are so far ahead in this one, and they will never, again, fight Hama Life in a straight-up fight. That is just never going to be on their agenda. Faker is level 16, by the way, in the side lane. 25 minutes.
There's a 2-level advantage when, at the beginning of the game, Miru had basically a free lane to go up against for most of it, because Faker was just in a side lane. Now Faker is, of course, also 26 CS in the lead. And that has to do with the fact that T1 are just playing the side lanes way better than Humble Life. And their composition does this, right? Humble Life are just forced to play to the beat of T1's drum as Faker is put in the death realm for a little while. Exhaust comes through, as Faker does have Flash if he'd like it. He's going to use his Zhonya's first, and Death's Grasp not going to be quite enough. As he's got Destiny, Teddy comes in. They want to take down Miru first. Very smart, actually. And then Faker jumps in on top of the Mordekaiser and finishes off the solo kill.
Yeah. TF is not easy to kill. Like, he builds defensively, and we've talked about his levels. He's level 16.
Runs really fast.
He runs so fast. And he stuns you. It's not easy. He's got Zhonya's. He's got Flash. He runs really fast. He's going to avoid all your skill shots. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to buy a lot of time for his team to get over to the split push lane and to help him out. And Faker did a great job of surviving for that amount of time. Humble kind of grasping at straws with that pick.
All right, well, Viper's actually able to get a fair bit of work done here as the sentry turret also onto Curry doing a ton of damage as Viper with exactly the right weapons to take down robots does so.
That seems balanced.
Yeah. Just
like
locks down the old Calibrum Crescendum combo. And we saw that in the last time. Let's have a look at what Faker does here.
Said I'm Death Realm.
나 이거 죽은 거 같아, 죽은 거 같아.
Said I think I'm dead.
I think I died. Yep.
본다, 이거 본다.
Watch this. Going in. Gets the kill. Nice dodges here by Viper.
Yeah, that
Avoids the
sidestep
hook.
on the hook was actually really clean.
Yeah, and that gets Guri in a position to get 200 years.
Yep.
Years.
200 years from 200 yards away.
Yeah. Well, more like 800,000 yards. It's the way it feels when it happens to you.
Hey, at least it's not unlimited range anymore.
Yeah.
It's sort of along the lines of like, you remember Twisted Fate, his Destiny Gate used to be his E. You know, it was on like a 20-second cooldown. You could just bounce around the map.
Seems fair.
Yeah, super balanced. As Dudu's getting solid underneath his turret here by Canna. And he's going to be able to lock that one down successfully. Somehow, Aphelios stole the Mountain Drake.
Okay.
Not sure how that happened, but...
Aphelios versus the world.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. As the split push is on, though, guys. And this is what happens. You just lose everything because T1 not really interested in team fighting.
Yeah, it's like nice Mountain Drake. That's not Mountain Soul. Even if it was, I don't even know if they would be too concerned with it.
They're 11,000 gold in the lead.
Mountain Soul doesn't give extra resistances and shields to your buildings, right? So it's like, or your minions, right? That would take away a little bit of power from the split push comp, and that's just not the way it is. So they easily will trade that one for 2 inhibitor turrets. And to bring out an old Papa Smithyism, we almost have a reverse legendary player. Dudu, poor Dudu, 0 and 7. He is very close. In fact, 1 death away.
He almost has to go for it now. I mean, what else is there to go for in this game? I feel like that's probably it. As Faker is very close to full build, does have his rapid fire cannon. I actually love that rapid fire cannon on mages such as Twisted Fate or Bard for the ultra long range CC auto attacks. Very cool. As Dudu puts himself in the Death Realm, I think is what we're saying here. What's better, Death Realm or the Hextech Ultimatum? And I think we know what the answer to that is, especially at this stage of the game.
Well, he had 2 choices. Either he could back off and give the inhibitor and try to join Mountain Drake fight that they somehow force, which, by the way, they're not great at forcing fights. T1 has identified that they have some pick potential, and they're just avoiding it at all costs. I mean, the Thresh has done 0 in this game.
Yeah.
As has the Trundle, it feels like. And...
Well, now Canna...
It was either that or you Death Realm under turret and
oh
pray.
my god, he used the Death's Grasp as a taxi to get closer to the Mordekaiser and the inhibitor. That was genius.
Wow, 5-head.
That is the kind of play that I would want. Destiny is going to show T1 exactly where Harma Life are, and this is called only having bad decisions to make. As Dudu's just going to get murdered underneath Nexus turrets! What the heck, Canna?
Oh, man. I actually feel bad for him.
Oh my goodness.
0 and 8 now has been achieved, I suppose, as Canna is not being very nice to the rookie player here from Hanwha Life. Puts him in his own death chamber, and they get the Baron as well. T1 are just crushing this team.
I think that loss to DRX really did affect T1. And a little bit earlier than they were affected by their losses in the spring season. Remember, it was actually a week of not exactly the best, as Miru...
Bullying is not okay, okay?
I think I've seen this like montage video of, look at this broken build!
Even
on YouTube,
emoted
you know?
him.
Well, Faker's going to get Moonlight Vigiled. Cuz wishes he had a little bit of extra range. Viper says, I don't need any extra range. My range is unlimited. As we'll see whether the god of the bottom lane is going to be enough to save Harmor life. But honestly, the game is being won entirely around the location of the Aphelios. And he's being made redundant, honestly. As, oh, he's trying to go for it. That was actually very cute.
I think if you time it perfectly, you can throw yourself out the back of the Fate's Call as well, out behind the Callista, and bring the guy all the way back. I'm not sure if you have enough time.
I've never seen that one. I have, of course, seen the original combo, but that one would be super cool. Imagine. As we are going to have a look at these top lane minis. There we go. Just have a look at the replay. Mirror.
Yeah, he was on vision as he was killing.
Oh no, he's just outside of the brush. Oh, that's what feels real bad.
Yeah, I mean, he saw him go in the brush, and he was like, okay, you're dead. The thumbs up, too, Kana just has no chill, man. He's like, he put his enemy top laner to 0 and 8, and also he's got to emote the rookie mid laner.
Not very fair. That being said, I think Kana and Mirror probably play with each other a lot in solo queue. Probably started at similar times as well. As I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Mirror started on Harmor Live about a year ago? Year or two ago? Something like that. And we're just going to see the Trundle die very, very quickly. Kana's found his way into the backline. Viper is still alive. But I don't think there's enough years ever anywhere that's going to save them, as Faker makes sure that Mirror is not able to get any work done with the ultimate. No one's dead on the side of T1, and they kill turrets extraordinarily quickly. Lehens goes into his stopwatch, but he will be taken down. Mirror also, that was incidental damage, I guess, as Viper Captain Jack cleanse, but honestly, it just does not matter what this Aphelios does because the Nexus has been destroyed. T1 with an absolute blowout against Harmor Life.
Yeah, not much to say about that one, guys. We are witnessing angry T1.
This is very much angry T1.
Up against Harmor Life, who are kind of in this strange rebuilding stage where they get Viper into the team and then they're like, wait, top side of the map is still really weak. What do we do about this? Do we try to play our rookies? Do we, try to light a fire under the butts of the veterans? Maybe our rookies can play well. And in the midst of all that, T1 comes in and just bullies them straight to the reverse legendary, to the absolute stomp of it. Oh yeah, I have to give someone POG.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I guess Faker. He had a lot of nice ganks early on.
All right.
That seems like a good vote.
When in doubt, vote for Faker. I think that works out. I think Kana probably deserves at least an honorable mention, but
yeah,
there are a lot of analysts and people voting, so it's likely that it's just going to be, it's like 10 for Kana, and then you and the Chinese broadcast.
Like, no, there's like one media guy that voted for Curry. It's like a Curry fan or something.
Hey, if he had have landed that last Hook Fate's Call combo, maybe that was going to be worthwhile, but definitely a great game from T1. Fantastic to see them bounce back after a very difficult one against DRX earlier in the week. In fact, on our debut game of LCK Summer for 2020. They still have to do it one more time up against Harmor Life here, and we'll see whether it's going to be Harmor finding their way to bounce back as a very depressing 1.3k in comparison to 12.7. It looks a little bit like the decimal places in the wrong position there. In the jungle, it's not how that one worked. In fact, Cuz got a lot of work done as far as damage, my god.
Yeah. He was landing those big spears towards the mid to late game. I guess the late game was like 30 minutes in this one.
Look at how linear that graph is, though. That's just... And we won.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool, calm, and collected from T1. Yeah, really smooth. But it was actually playing an optimal split push the way it should be played, absolutely dismantling any way that Aphelios is supposed to win. And I imagine the Dynamics are just looking at this going, oh, man, I forgot that if you have a teamfight comp, then maybe you go against them with a split push, like the rock, paper, slizzers of League of Legends strategy.
Yeah, perhaps. Keep in mind that Harmor Life did give T1 the TF, which I think is a mistake. I think for draft for the next game, probably want to avoid that.
Yep, maybe we'll ban that one out of the way, but we'll see what happens after the break.
나를 둘러싼 모든 것들이 완벽했다.
강팀주님, 요즘 서부팀 경기 잘 안 보시는 것 같아요. 트렁크 한번 봐봐요. 거기에 뭐 숨기는 것 같던데?
선우, 해설하다가 급하게 나갔어. 너한테 가는 것 같다. 조심해. 동부팀 경기 보는 거 눈치챈 것 같아.
동부팀 경기 봤어?
I saw it. 봤어. 꿀잼.
나도 봤어. 허니잼.
모든 게 완벽했다. 나를 둘러싼 모두가 완벽하게 나를 속이고 있었다. 재밌니? 혹시 너 알고 있었어? 어우, 야, 태호 그 자식이 꿀잼이라고 한 경기만 보자 그래서. 나 몰래 동부 경기도 같이 보고 네가 내 친구가 맞긴 하니? 당연하지. 그렇다면 분석 똑바로 해 이제부터! 재혁 씨, 대체 왜 동부는 재밌는 거야?
선우 씨 괜찮아요? 선우 씨. 뭐야 너? 선우 씨 괜찮아요? 이거요. 한옥수.
더 이상 강팀준이 아닌 거야?
딴티가 사랑에 빠진 게 죄는 아니잖아. 꿀잼.
이런 갓나 새끼.
너도 보고 싶잖아. 동부특 경기 보고 싶어 죽겠잖아 당신. 아니야?
이게 나야.
엄마 아빠 뭐가 그렇게 쉬워? 아니 언제나 강팀이 최고라며. 내가 미치겠는 거 동부팀과 서부팀을 동시에 좋아한다는 거야.
그러게 남의 바로 함부로 치는 게 아닌데.
맞아요. 저 싱글이라고요. 혼자 사는 게 무슨 문제인지 말씀을 해보시라고요.
LCK 걱정하지 마. 내가 후원하도록 하지. 진행시켜.
저도 LCK 들어가고 싶은데
찬성하시는 분?
난 찬성.
건도형.
저도 찬성이에요.
That was T1 versus Hana Life, game number 1. Both teams are looking for their first victory of the split. T1 had a stomp in this game, especially up against the new roster from Hana Life Esports. Twisted Fate was B1 card for T1, which means that Twisted Fate is now on the top on the tier list. And also Nidalee had a huge jungle priority, so Twisted Fate has so much space to roam around. So Mordekaiser dying so much was one of the biggest reasons Hana Life dropped this game. So this time around, Hana Life kind of showed what happens when a team fails to decide or focus on one play. So if you are having a bad game, you actually have to focus on one strategy. So for example, if Syndra had Cleanse as a summoner spell, she actually should have pushed harder and like trying to absorb one gank trial using his spell and kind of putting more pressure and keeping Twisted Fate from roaming around. But today, none of the players were pulling up the performance that each champions were kind of needed to do. So I guess Syndra should have pulled up a cleaner decision overall, but at the same time, Hana Life having such a hard game on the top side was a huge issue as well. So there were two dragon fights that showcased that in the indecisiveness of the team with the team fight comp. Mordekaiser should have to be in a very front line, maybe trying to even death realm Nidalee to secure the dragon for Hana Life, because that was the main point that Hana was trying to snowball around. Hana Life managed to pop the flash out of Nidalee, so they should have focused even more on the dragon fight and contested harder, maybe even at all costs. But Dudu's positioning was so off, and Cat had extra pressure on his shoulder to smite fight with a well-fed jungler. And they had a very similar fight again around this dragon fight. Trundle was the only one actually trying the dragon, so rest of the players were not in the right position. So Mordekaiser was not able to make any plays with his ability. In short, this game indicates that the pressure of LCK games. So maybe the rookie players are kind of being suppressed by this kind of pressure around them having their debut game. I guess Hana Life should have be geared up with higher confidence in order to secure a win. Let's check out who will be the POD of T1 for game number 1. Faker on Twisted Fate. Faker did a lot of damage to turrets. 2/3 of the entire team's damage on the buildings of Hana Life Esports, and a very experienced player, Faker himself, was so good at reading that Dudu was having maybe a little bit of jitter on stage to have his rookie days. So he was so good at just picking on him throughout the game.
T1 같은 경우는 강팀이어서 단단한 모습의 특패가 보여지지 않을까라고
T1
생각을 했는데
as a stronger team, well, we were expecting them to kind of outperform Hana Life Esports, but maybe this time could be Hana Life Esports underperforming due to a lot of pressure and anxiety. So Faker almost a clean score over here, getting that POG, except for the media votes. So let's move on to game number 2 for T1 versus Hana Life Esports, whether Hana Life will sub in of experienced players or whether they'll keep with this new roster. So I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
이어지는 두 팀의 경기 함께 하시죠.
Thank you so much, G-Sun, as usual, for the translation of the analyst desk. And it was, pretty close to unanimously in favor of Faker, despite, Canna being casually underneath Nexus turrets, killing Mordekaisers. Largely the reason for that is because Faker set it all up from the early game. He's now meditating so that he can do it all again.
Oh, he woke up. Okay.
All right.
Quick naps.
Oh no, he woke up. What's going to happen in game 2? Oh, it's a disaster.
Yeah. Midu here, I mean, he didn't have a bad game, but I feel like it wasn't really played around the mid lane at all. Like, Cinder wasn't really able to have much of an effect in that one, so he wasn't really tested to a high level compared to some of his rookie teammates up towards the top side that had a bit more trouble. So we'll see if they can fix that here coming into game 2. And how the pick ban is going to change up here. I feel like we might see more priority on TF.
Yeah, less priority on Aphelios maybe as well. We'll see how it's going to go. Maybe Hanwha just choose to ban it away and not deal with it at all. As no subs is quite interesting. After Hanwha do have, of course, Cuvee, Haru, and Lava sitting in the backside.
Tells you a lot about the current state of the team.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not good things, as Varus and Yuumi to be banned by T1, and the LeBlanc and Twisted Fate this time to be taken away from Faker. And the Callista is a very good idea as well. So Hanwha will have to, T1 will have to change up their style. Still plenty of split push options if they do want to go down that route yet again, though. I just loved watching good split push. Good split push is actually really, really hard to do as a team, and T1 basically just demonstrated exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, it helps when you get miles ahead in the early game as well. They didn't really have much of a pressure back, push back from the side of Hanwha Life.
True.
Let's see what they prioritize here. We had Trundle, Karma, Aphelios available.
Yep, Trundle going to be that first pick. Was banned in game number 1, I believe. Actually, no. No. It was picked by Hanwha Life. But they're going to pick it again. Could just pick a Nidalee into it one more time. Kaz actually had a very good game on that. But the Nidalee Twisted Fate synergy is actually just very strong. Being able to land the gold card and guarantee a spear. But Karma was left up, guys. And that's going to be picked here. See where it's going to go. This isn't necessarily as cut and dry as watching a Team Dynamics game where it's almost obviously going to be Kuzan that plays it. Faker a little bit more flashy as Kuz is on the Lee Sin. All right, guys. This is a change-up.
Yeah, Lee Sin was not on my top 5 possible picks that I was expecting there. But Kuz is going to select it and say, let me handle it, guys. They give up Aphelios Nautilus, which I don't think is a good idea. They could still, if they didn't want to pick Aphelios, they can still pick Ezreal here. It is Teddy after all. If they want to prove to us that the Ezreal can in fact win in that matchup,
That would
now would
definitely
be the time
be
to pick it.
It'd be a gauntlet thrown, 100%. And it is going to happen. All right. Some confidence here out of T1. If they lose this game, then I'm going to start throwing things around the room when Ezreal's picked into Aphelios on purpose.
Yeah, it would take a lot, I think, for T1 to lose up against Hanwha Life after what we saw in game number 1, but let's see if perhaps Aphelios is that strong with Lulu also going to be banned away here. They want to take away stuff that can help the Aphelios carry.
Don't mind it, especially when the Nautilus can be flexed, and Lehens does like his enchanters quite a lot. Almost trying to funnel that Nautilus to Lehens. Life. Where are they going to focus, though, as the Braum is going to be taken away? I think there's a very high chance that the Karma is in the bottom lane. Ezreal Karma is a strong lane, as well as Faker being able to then flex his muscles on something else. Also means that T1 have hidden both of their solo laners. But certainly has a very flexible nature, does the Karma.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Curry on something like that. He did play the Blitzcrank pretty well in the last game. Again, there weren't many game-changing hooks just because the game was already kind of won from that position, but certainly looked comfortable on the pick. As Syndra gets taken away from Mutus, so we get to see something new from the rookie mid laner of Hanwha Life.
Yep. Final ban here coming in will be the Zoe away from Faker. Identifying that Zoe Ezreal still on the board. Jesse and James. All right. Now, Teddy, what is he going to lock in? As it looks like Faker will be put on the Karma. As this is not what you want. That was...
Brad, come on.
I like the idea of Brad, and Curry is a Brad aficionado. Oh, God!
Oh!
Whoa, that took a turn for the Thomas very quickly.
Oh, no!
Goodness gracious me. All right. Well, I wasn't ready for that. That caught me by surprise. Wukong going to be locked in here from Hanwha Life, and the Azir is there. Picking Azir into Faker is definitely a confidence move. And now Faker, we'll see what he gathers for Canna, as it looks like the Karma should be being played towards the top side. Sorry, towards the mid lane. Malphite. Oh, Jax?
Jax.
That sounds fun.
I almost feel like T1 is kind of flexing a little bit.
I think so.
With Curry saying, okay, I'll just full-on protect you. It's like,
that is Jax locked in.
Yeah, Jax is going to be locked in. This is something that, I mean, we're going to have to see if Canna can actually pilot it to a high degree here in pro play. It is going to be up against the Wukong. So with Wukong, very popular nowadays in even the LCK, but also in solo queue. Jax could be one of these common counters that we do see into this pick. So definitely a very, just, you know, they're throwing Faker onto Karma as well. This is not as solid of a draft as game number one, just straight up. They had a very identifiable split push composition. This time around, it's like, well, we're pretty good at picking and kiting, and they do have Jax for decent split pushing as well.
I mean, you can split push with Tahm Kench Ezreal, theoretically, because then you can Abyssal Voyage, much like you can Destiny Gate. It just requires having a couple of people. But this is going to be a Hanwha Life roster, a little bit of a change-up from game number one, with the Wukong top side and the Azir in the mid lane now. Plus 200 Years Under the Sea as the bottom lane duo of Felios and Nautilus. And the Canadian dollar just trolling around. As he did in game number one. And this is going to be your T1 roster. The classic Ezreal Karma that we saw not work consistently. Over on the side of Team Dynamics earlier in the day, T1 now looking to give them a few lessons, a few pointers on how to get that one done. But as far as 4-1 is concerned, not a bad comp at all. The Jax freely able to split push and should be able to duel up against the Wukong based on how the early game goes. As we get onto the Rift, we'll see whether the Jax is going to prove to be the correct pick into the Wukong, or whether Hanwha Life can fight back and bring us to the full 6 games on the day.
Yeah, let's take a look here. It doesn't look like any shenanigans here in the early game, although Faker. Nice start, gets a stack of his mana flow ban. That's always a nice
the dream
feel.
Yep. Did 100 damage to Miro as well. Not bad. All right, bit of a back here. Maybe a bit of a switch out. And it is going to be Sweeper, picked up from the Canadian dollar. So it looks like he's going to be starting on his red side jungle.
A lot less Scorches nowadays.
It's good, isn't it?
You know, we don't really see many, at least today. Or, yeah, in both series today. We do have, looks like Futures Market there on the Nautilus. Not super common, but definitely a good rune.
Yep, I feel like that's a Lehens thing. I feel like Lehens is the type of player that can make use of that. As Glorious Thomas looking quite magnificent with that particular skin. As Faker moves on up. Traditional Karma. I believe. Is that a traditional Karma skin? Because that's actually a skin.
Is it?
I'm trying to remember. I think it's
I don't know,
actually...
it kind of looked normal to me.
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
not
just
sure.
stock. Never mind. Viper playing around. As, okay, Teddy gets one of the farm. And this is actually, I'm really, really interested in this particular matchup. Because I think Viper is a fantastic Aphelios player, but I think Teddy is one of the best Ezreals in the world. And we need to know why Ezreal is being picked on purpose into Aphelios, when from what we've seen, he loses all of the matchups. As Canna is just getting whacked on by Dudu.
Yeah. Just taking it there. And we could have seen that early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Viper's going to find Cuz, who does safeguard his way out. Means that Lehens gets taken down to 200 health, and Viper misses out on a bit of experience.
We saw that Duckdam from Team Dynamics, he had moments where the Ezreal looked pretty good in the mid game. Obviously the mid game, Ezreal's favorite place in this game. But then other times where, even in the late game, he was trying and he got close, but never quite able to outcarry the Aphelios. So I think you're absolutely right. We have to see what Teddy can do on a pick like this, as it should look very different.
Here's Cad to try and get on forward. That's not the greatest of pillars. It means that the area is all he's going to get for his trouble. It's Teddy Arcane shifting pretty aggressively there. And Dudu might just be solo killed, as the Empower should be coming back up. Flash still available here from Canna, but Leap Strike is there, and that's first blood. Solo kill, and he gets a flash and doesn't have to use his own. That is a catastrophe. Unless you're a T1 fan, in which case it is just style points.
Yeah.
Once again.
We're going to have to see exactly how Dudu got himself into that position. Definitely very unfortunate for him that, especially as you mentioned, Kana just leap strikes. He's like, okay, you're dead, buddy. It was probably a trade gone wrong. Dudu was looking good when it was level 2 to level 1, but it's a very different story when Jax gets, you know, a bunch of attacks down, and then
I think it was a
Faker.
teleport back to lane situation that Dudu didn't quite respect enough.
I think they
from what we can see.
TP'd back to lane now.
Oh, did they both actually go back and come back again?
I think so.
Okay, well, then there's no excuse.
I'm sure we're going to get a look at the replay, though, just to make sure.
Oh,
He's
another
going in
leap
again.
strike. Yeah, exactly. Counter-Strike will go down as Dudu decoys his way into the brush. Cuz is going to be here. It's a decent pillar this time. Sleep Strike does get Canna out to safety, but back in they go. Cad down to 300 as Cuz not so lucky. He's going to have to limp his way out of here, but it looks like it has stemmed the bleeding, and Dudu does have a severe health advantage.
I want to see that replay.
Yeah, they'll probably show it.
I'm like, guys, can we see it? Maybe they want to see more trading here. As Wukong definitely has some decent trade potential early on in the game, but you always have to respect the Jax. So we're going to see. It was actually started here by Jax, as he saw the little stealth, I don't know what you would call that, flare or ghost or something. He said, I got him.
Yeah, and he got his flash.
Yeah.
And he pinged it to his team. As yet again, Leap Strike is being used off cooldown as another decoy comes forward. Cad going to come on in this time, though, and it's going to mean that Canna is not going to be so lucky. Okay, that's pretty impressive as Dudu just turns around and smashes him in the face with his stick. That's what happens when you have a real weapon, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't have to flash there. I think he was almost 100% of the time dead, but kind of, especially after game 1, I'm sure he is just, he destroys game 1, gets a solo kill game 2, and he is just feeling it, the overconfidence oozing out of him, and that's, I think, why he flashed there, so. Got to be careful about that.
Don't mind it. Also, with Leap Strike, you can do some fancy stuff, assuming you have a ward. I don't know whether that control ward was actually in his back pocket in time, but Cuz is desperately trying to crash this wave into the turret. But the Wukong should be able to get here to get all but the cannon minion, basically. So not quite able to shove it fast enough, and now Canna finds himself with absolutely nothing to do. I'm not sure whether he's going to actually place that control ward. Taking a bit of a wander down the river at the moment, as Faker is going to put Cad on a leash. And he's going to take a little bit of a pillar for his trouble. Otherwise, no worries.
Jungler's getting angry, stealing all the lane XP and gold.
Yep.
Getting in there, helping push, trying to get better lane states for their laners. But kind of looks like, you know, if this were solo kill, that wouldn't be the reason why that's happening. But let's see how this top lane is going to go from here on out. The first kill was taken by Kana, but he's fallen behind a little bit in CS. So that will put the Dudu ahead.
Yep, having a look at this one once again. Kana just, biting off a little more than he can chew.
Gets smited, stuns them both, and I suppose he didn't have to reset there, probably used it on the jump. And he had a ward, but it didn't spot the bottom of that long brush. So he didn't quite see the Trundle coming, was able to sneak on in, and kind of got caught by surprise there.
Well, so far, Cuz has soaked a few waves of minions top lane. And the Lee Sin effect is something that we've wanted to see improved here in the LCK. So far, not quite there. As Lehens, he's left his lane, and he's over here looking for Cuz. Cad gonna move on in to go for some sort of smite fight, but Curry, he got the memo. He's going to turn up as well, as Cuz is going to at least search to see where Cad might be. Faker looking to clear this control ward. Nope, not going to try and contest. Miru and Lehens just going to move up towards this first Rift Herald. Shelly going to be taken down. Counter gets back to lane. He's 20 CS down though. Probably something you'd expect for a Jax. Certainly has a bit of ramp up time. Lehens gets licked. And Cuz is looking for him. Finds himself the Q. Flash comes out. Cuz not going to flash over into 4 people. Intelligent. True Shot Barrage is going to find Viper. And Teddy is currently down 3 CS. Otherwise, everything's absolutely fine.
Yeah, just 80 carries left alone here with the Rift Herald play. It did have a bunch of help me pings around the Rift Herald from the side of T1, so it did look like they wanted to get on in there and challenge it, which they did. Kana also left the top lane pushing into him, which denied a decent amount of XP and gold away from Dudu during that whole exchange. And actually, he's just going to get to work on that once again, because doesn't seem to mind it, as he'll get his own Infernal Drake down on the bottom side, as Curry is still in the mid lane. Now he's Faker support.
Yeah, I guess so. Doesn't seem to matter though, does it? Because Teddy's taking turret plates by himself, denying whatever he can, as in goes Lehens. Teddy gets himself his turret plate. Concussive blows do come down. Dredge line waited for here by Teddy. As Cud's going to safeguard his way in. That's a good kickback just to deny Viper the kill. And in the end, actually worked, because Teddy didn't have to invest anything, and all they had to use was Dragon Rage, and Cuz will have that one up relatively quickly.
Yeah. Thought it might have been a case of him greeting for the turret plate, but it ended up, it was all calculated with the Lee Sin coming down. Cuz hasn't been too visible during this game with the Lee Sin, but at least he did pick up that Infernal Drake. Still waiting to see what all this priority on the Lee Sin is all about.
Well, it works in China, Valdez, and
yeah, well,
I'm not sure. Shelly's going to pop down here and see whether she can pump some more money into the Aphelios. Screwy going to clear out these minion waves, but looks like the tower is going to survive for the moment, but only on its last legs. Harmor Life should be able to finish this one off relatively quickly. Lehens is having fun with his Hex Flash.
It's always a fun time to scare your opponents with. And we've kind of slowed down after that early game top shenanigans. And looks like they're going to hand over the blue actually to the Ezreal. The Karma, again, doesn't necessarily need much to just survive and farm. And
especially when you have Athenes, right?
Yeah.
It's a fair bit of regen in unto itself. And going to be building quite a few mana items, actually, if she's going to go the Kuzan build without opting in for the Rabadons as third item. Kind of going to get the stun here. Trinity Force is what he's really looking for. And then he's going to be happily dueling. Although, once again, charging up those Conqueror stacks. But yeah, I think it's time to talk about Nintendo, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on.
Oh?
It's okay, never mind. Dude, just going to run away. Kick back. Resonating strike. Not going to be opted in for here, as Cuz is he's a kickboxer based on that skin, but he's not doing a lot of boxing. He's just doing a lot of kicking at this point.
Yeah, he's a kick bot at this point in the game. And, I mean, that is, I suppose, one of the positive things about Lee Sin's kit is that you can disengage effectively against someone
He's
who's
also
running at
level
you.
7, remember, as the dredge line lands onto the Tahm Kench, though, True Shot Barrage, finds Cad, good exhaust down as well as Lehens, just gets smacked by Cuz easily, takes him down as now Viper's getting soloed out by Teddy. Arcane shifting and flashing forward, but actually missing that last Mystic shot as now Miro, he's dead. And Cuz may have heard us on this broadcast as he might just look for a Q into this brush, not going to be able to find it as the Tempest isn't enough. But still, a gigantic win for T1, despite the fact that Viper did not go down. And Teddy demonstrating just how dangerous this Ezreal is. As he must have so much money in his back pocket, by the way. He's been sitting on those items forever.
Yeah, he might just go back and buy both of them.
Potentially.
He bought Manamune and boots.
And another Sapphire Crystal.
So there'll be, you know, games like this where the action is just all over the place, where the Lee Sin pick looks really good. And he effectively baited Lehens into a really awkward spot. The TP got Lehens into an even worse spot, and then Curry just barely survives with Faker's shield and his own. And that's what allows Cuz to get back. As we see, the fight between the 80 carries was actually too much for a Viper to handle, and that's why he had to just back away.
Oh, it was a good sidestep, actually.
Yeah, great job. Maybe that's the reason why we see so much Ezreal into Aphelios, because in a straight-up fight,
Teddy's Ezreal is a different champion to a lot of other Ezreals.
He will do well.
I think there are a few Ezreals that we trust. I think Def's Ezreal used to be fantastic. It's not as amazing as it used to be, but let's hold the thought for now. As Tahm Kench, I think we've got, you want some sushi? Some catfish sushi there towards the bottom side of the map, and Viper is handed that on a silver platter. The service at this restaurant is absolutely amazing. But in the meantime, the Jax is doing work. The teleport is going to be an advantage of T1 when it comes back up as far as top lane is concerned. And it's just the one kill in trade for a turret. Was close to getting a bunch of plates as well. Missed out on the last couple, I believe, but also did get a fair bit of extra money and was able to close that gap as far as the CS. So I think still a trade up for T1.
Yeah. It's like a nice set play. You know, I think Hanwha Life with some new members, they're still trying to get their feet underneath them and keep everything stable. So going for set plays like that is nice. You know, the timing is good.
Oh, wow, that Q was so close to hitting that from Cuz.
Okay.
He just gets the kick. Remember,
that's a long foot, man.
He's just the kicker. He's not a kickbot, he's a kicker.
Yeah.
And he really, that's what happens if you only practice your kicking. You're going to really extend your range. As he does finally put those fists to use. As Lehens is going to have to get out of there. Does so without using the flash, though. Good judge line.
Yeah. I want to see the replay of the slow motion of Lee Sin's foot extending. You know, I didn't watch...
like Space Jam?
I didn't watch much One Piece. We were mentioning this before with Curry, but I know there's that stretchy guy.
He is pretty
I don't know
stretchy.
his name, but I know he can stretch, and that's maybe...
Fantastic Four is another example of that.
Yeah, what about the... Isn't it the woman from The Incredibles, right?
Yeah. Elastigirl.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
You got all our references in.
You're absolutely fantastic. All of that
wow.
culture that you just
I know
understood.
The pop cultures.
You did it.
Great.
A boomer no more.
I've joined the cool club because I watched the Marvel movie. Yes!
But it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of people don't understand that you don't get a lot of the references, not because you're a boomer and you know only old stuff. It's because you don't know anything other than playing like 2 different video games your entire life.
I know a lot about League of Legends.
Yeah, it's like League of Legends and World of Warcraft. You know all
StarCraft,
of the
know a lot about that. Yep. And
Outside
Age
of
of
that
Empires, that's another one I played a lot.
Did you play much Civilization? I like that one. It's
fun.
Gonna check out Cuz, missing a Q here. Oh, we get to see the foot.
나 살짝 얘 볼게. 잠시 봐줘.
I actually did just
I'm
lean.
gonna try for this.
까비. 더. 오케이.
What?
That's a long foot.
It's even like a pillar in the way.
Well, that's what happens if you train that foot a lot.
Okay.
You get through anything. Brick walls, things like that.
The window. We have another windowed mode player. We already knew that about Cuz.
Yep, good devour.
You know, the Tom Kench is interesting against the Varus Ashe combo.
Good kickback there. It's under the hands though. Is Cad gonna try and do some work? Good Cyclone as Cuz is gonna go down first. The Eladios is going to be reaping the rewards, and now more sushi. Viper must have been very, very hungry as there's the stopwatch from Lahans. He's styling on them here in the mid lane. Humble Life, they answer back. Not quite enough to get themselves the gold lead, but otherwise things looking good as Canna lying in wait and decides to do mostly the wait. The Krugs.
Yeah, Krugs, definitely a lot of gold. But yeah, I think T1 just got a little bit too far down the lane there as Dudu is going to try to trade back here. He's not exactly in a great spot here with not a completed item against Trinity Force. Generally, not a good trade there. As you can see, it starts off by the Lee Syndrome. He goes in, and then he kind of baits his team into a bad spot down the lane. And Dudu actually with the great follow-up engage.
Yeah, I was actually sick from Dudu. Really, really nicely done.
Definitely a great play from that rookie top laner. Gotta hand it to him. He is angry after game number 1. Doesn't want to be bullied anymore.
Understandable too. That was a difficult one for him. As Canna, I believe, is building towards his Ninja Tabi and, of course, the Death's Dance, which is just so good. Second item, as Curry gonna have to flash pillar a little bit late there from Cad.
Yeah, at least Lahen's lost his flash, so he looks a little bit less silly after the play.
And now Teddy parked in the mid lane. Got an interesting build coming out from Faker here, actually opting in for the second item Ludens instead of third. Ardent Sense are going to be a little bit late or non-existent, depending on what he wants the build to look like. It's not as valuable, I guess, on a Ezreal, but it's super valuable on Jax. I think you'd actually really want to purchase it as soon as possible, but Faker obviously has his reasons, looking for a little bit of extra upfront damage first. As Cuz is a big boy. He's really far ahead in farm. He's 3-1-0, has a fully completed Black Cleaver.
Yeah. You got a Fed Lee Sin on your team, but you would rather have the Fed Aphelios, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
And he is 3-0-1 Viper. He didn't get a chance to carry in game number 1 because the top side of the map fed a little bit too much. Maybe this is his time to shine, given the Aphelios versus Ezreal matchup, and essentially handed over the champion once again and saying, I dare you to do that and actually win against us. They're going to be able to secure this Mountain Drake at least.
And once again, the split push is on, actually. Faker's up towards the top side. Inspire actually does give Karma a lot of ability to split push because you just run faster than most other people. But Humble Life able to capitalize nicely. They take themselves the first Mountain Drake of the game, and they also take down the mid outer turret. That is going to keep them within touching distance. As Faker is 2 levels ahead of Miru, who is the second highest level in the game. Faker is just, I don't know, he's still playing Twisted Fate, although he's playing Karma instead. Does that make sense? Sitting in side lane, soaking all of this farm and experience.
He hasn't gone Ardent Sensor in this game. He's like, well,
yeah,
I don't really want that in this one with the Ezreal.
I still think he should get it, though. Jackson,
yeah, it doesn't.
Ardent Sensor is
feel bad.
super good.
Ardent Sensor, LS was talking about this on his own stream about how it's just a huge bundle of stats, not to mention all of the buffing that you do.
Yep. Devour comes in. Depth Charge is going to mainly hit onto Curry. Cuz is going to be in position, but it looks like the Catfish is well and truly dead. Yeah, he is. And T1 not actually opting in because they've got Canna on the bottom side. And now Humble Life are thinking about a Baron. Abyssal Voyage is there, so in 20 seconds, Curry can be pretty close.
I mean, Canna's got TP. You already have Cad, who's below half health, with an Ezreal that's going to poke. Lee Sin.
Yeah, Cuz can just go for a 50-50 here. They may as well do it, as Humble Life probably will look for a turn as Teddy finds Lahens. Canna gets in there, as it is going to be Baron taken by Humble Life, but they need someone to actually have the buff. As now Dudu, no mana whatsoever. There are no turrets in the top lane, so T1 can chase forever. As Cat is actually going to look to meet his teammate. That might actually cause his demise.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh dear, Cuz easily going to be able to get this one. I have no idea why he flashed.
Okay.
That was very strange, but Cat's now actually going to escape. Teddy was doing the right thing and taking down turrets. But despite the Baron going down, they get 3 kills and they continue their onslaught onto these standing objectives on the map in these turrets. This is the last remaining inner that they can even go for. And Teddy should be able to take that one down. Oh my god, the combo! But the ulti comes in. Devour is brilliant. Curry! Really good to see this guy playing so well in his debut match. True Shot Barrage comes down. That's going to be the end of the Trundle. This is, ladies and gentlemen, why you picked the Ezreal. As Teddy's still alive. Lahen's almost the start with that Mystic Shot as Viper looking for it to show the Elodios. As there's the Arcane Shift. Flash away there as the Gravitum. Pretty difficult to deal with that one, because what the heck was that? As now Dudu dives on top of the Dragon Rage kick is going to be there. Canna not going to be able to get enough CC out of that counter strike as Grandmaster's Might, I believe, was ticking, and it still is, but the turret is going to mitigate that one. And in the end, I think Dudu might get the last laugh as the double Cyclones will get the Catfish and maybe this Muay Thai boxer as he's trying to run away. There it is. Nimbus Strike after the decoy comes out.
I just hear the Korean caster screaming Dududunga behind me as he goes in. As Dududungjang is actually, to like get in there, real fast, real fun. As I wanna put you guys to Teddy, who is, again, we talked about this, maybe he's gonna be the one guy to prove to us why Ezreal gets picked into Aphelios. I feel like even though it was a broken fight, that's the perfect time for Ezreal to really pop off as he pops off. There he pops off. Here, Curry, great positioning to be close enough to make sure that he devours him up. Even though Curry has died a lot, he's sacrificed a lot for his team, and he's actually been in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I actually think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, he's had a great
I don't know
game.
what that tongue lash was. But that's okay.
And then we get to see a little bit of why Teddy and Cuz are sometimes considered the best at their roles. The mechanics begin to pop off as Cuz comes in. He has the wherewithal to say, hey, if I get in there for that last bit of damage, I can secure this and help Teddy survive. Until, of course, Dududunga comes in.
Yeah. Not entirely sure why Canna decided it would be a really good idea just to go face first underneath the turret with the Wukong still alive, but it did mean that Dudu was able to fully clean up. And after the dust settles, we'll have to see exactly what that means as T1 are setting up for yet another fight. So we're not going to be able to see what it means as far as the items, because it looks like we're straight back into another battle. But that's what we want. This is the LCK. It's not known for super fast, super fun action. And at 24 minutes, we have 22 kills. So this is definitely shaping up better than especially some of our games in our first
Yeah. T1 drafts fun comps against teams that they know they're better against, and they play them and they actually have fun with them.
Oh, that's a dredge line. Good Arcane Shift, and Curry's going to get the Devour as well. Cad should be going down, but in goes Dudu into the back line. Grandmaster's Might not enough to do anything there as Miru gets the ulti onto only Faker, but it doesn't seem to matter because Aphelios is still alive. And Cuz is randomly at a quarter health on the bottom side of the screen. That is going to be Dragon Soul Point as T1 gets slaughtered in that team fight.
Yeah, we begin to see bit by bit why Wukong especially is a very high tier pick nowadays. The amount of CC he offers in a team fight on top of just straight up damage and his ability to survive through invisibility, through death stance is uncanny. Over the wall here goes Lahen's, a great engage. At first you're thinking, okay, T1 got this, but then Canna, yet again, he goes in, and look at the difference between the top laners in this team fight. I'm not saying the skill, just the champions and their effect on it. The knockups in the background do so much for Humble Life, whereas Canna goes in and he doesn't have his counterattack up. And so he kind of just dies eventually, even though he's got a lot of resistances and doesn't end up doing much as he gets CC'd to death. And from there, I mean, Lee Sin got burst down a little bit early on in that one, even though he had a good kick. Just to survive, he wasn't able to do much, which is part of the reason why we don't enjoy too many Lee Sins here in a very team fight-centric region. And there you go. Hanwha Life able to secure a win in the team fight as well as another dragon. They're on Mountain Soul Point, and they actually have a chance to win this one against T1.
And they have 100 gold lead, Valdez. For the first time in this series, they do get themselves ahead in gold. As now Miru moves back towards the bottom side, looking to try and fight this one out against Canna. Another Cyclone, I believe, still available. There it is. Grandmaster's Might is down, and Canna's just going to leap strike his way out of this one. Both top laners getting melted down by their own death dances. There we go. Counter-Strike is going to mean that Dudu's not going to be able to close the gap as Miru decides that it's his turn. Conquering Sands is going to be available. There it goes. Flash eventually gathered, and Leap Strike will get Canada safety. So he survives, but not without having to invest a fair bit into that one. Dudu only his ultimate. Miru not much at all, just a shifting Sands cooldown. Now T1 able to move towards the Baron. But if Canada can keep making pressure like that and causing two people to come down to his lane, still doing his job.
Yeah. Especially when, you know, objectives are up. I feel like it was a bit of a shame for T1 that the Baron was about 20 seconds away from respawning when that whole shenanigan did happen on the bottom side. But perhaps that's the reason why Hanwha Life went for it, and it was just a calculated play. They were able to get that flash out of the Jax, which is a very important summoner for anyone, but especially for Jax, who loves to reposition. So he's just going to return to the split push. Let's see how hard Hanwha Life want to try to force this Baron. They could just try to sit back and wait for Mountain Drake to spawn in 2 minutes, and then if they secure that, go for Baron afterwards after Mountain Soul. But I'm not sure exactly how confident they're feeling about winning that dragon fight.
Well, I mean, the last fight certainly went very well for them, and I think front to back they do have a composition that at this point in the game is looking much better. T1, they do have the Lee Sin problem. They have Karma, who doesn't necessarily scale fantastically. She has got a more scaling build than she would otherwise have, even with Sorcerer Shoes. It's a little bit greedy. But has completed the very fancy hat. But Cuz is going to fall off. Even Tamkench not going to offer as much. But will be able to reposition Teddy. This is a Teddy hard carry type game with hopefully Canna in a side lane getting some stuff done. As True Shot Barrage will stop some backs and give some information over to T1, allowing them to go for their own reset. Blade of the Ruin King likely to be finished here by Teddy, and he does just complete it. Next item here for Faker, I'm hoping, is going to be the Ardent Sensor, and there it is. Going to be started at least, not quite completed just yet. And as a fourth item, Ardent Sensor with a Jax and an Ezreal. It's a little bit sad.
Yeah, wanted to prioritize just straight up big numbers rather than a little bit more of a supporty type build with the Ardent Sensor earlier on.
Oh, Cat
I don't know about this
gonna
Cat.
get killed.
I don't know about that one, buddy. Teddy, you mentioned this is going to be the solo carry from him if they win, and split push, you know, sidekick Canna.
Oh, 100%.
That's going to be the story at the end of this one if T1 win. And you can't, you're Trundle, okay? It's late game against Ezreal with 4 items. You're not you're not running at him anymore. It's not happening. I don't care if you subjugate him or whatever. It's not going to work.
I'm not sure what a Hanwha Life are actually looking for here. It was like they were trying to trade the Mountain Drake. Remember, they have a lot more flexibility in this moment. T1 have to stop them from getting it. Whereas Hanwha Life, they can feel free to take this turret first and even give up the Drake, because one Mountain as T1's second dragon is really not a big deal. As Hanwha Life are just going to move straight towards the base. And the dragon does go down, but now they're going to lose an inhibitor turret for it. As Lehens moves on over, flashes forward just to stop the backs. The kickback does come in. Are they just going to win the game? Teddy gets back to base. Canna's there as well. As now Dudu underneath his turret gets the Cyclone knock up onto Teddy. Dudu taking a lot of damage, but the second Nexus turret, it's going down so incredibly quickly, and Viper should just be able to eat through it. Oh my god, we're going to 6 games. Hanwha Life steal it away from T1.
And just like that, Hanwha Life sweep the rug out from under T1 and say, this is our game to win. We don't want to have any Teddy story, Teddy carry, anything like that. Welcome to the Dudu carry coming in on his Wukong and just showing you what's up. Oh man, baiting them with the Mountain Soul, trying to get everybody in there, the classic backdoor. front door play there. Hanwha Life just running it down mid and picking up the win. Very nicely played by them. I feel like their map plays this time around were much cleaner. And we are going to that fabled Game 6/Game 3 on the night. And a well-deserved win goes to them. I have to say, T1's draft's not the best. They almost were able to make it work with some fancy plays and the Teddy carry, but wasn't quite enough with a couple of botched team fights there in the mid-game that, honestly, due to... Oh, yeah, I got to vote.
Yeah, you do.
Everybody knows who I'm voting for. You know. Best name on the team. No, I'm not voting for Viper.
Yep, Viper.
He attacked and got some kills.
Incredible.
No.
Took down the Nexus. No, I think Dudu actually did play very, very well. He got solo killed that game. And then came back and team fought immaculately. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Wukong is relatively imba. But
yes,
certainly we got a look in at the reason why. And Wukong has lost his fair share of games. I mean, you look over the regions, Wukong is not necessarily crushing it when he does get picked up, but in that game, Dudu definitely made him look fantastic. So, I believe, was Wukong? Yes, he was banned second round in the first series, in the first game, and then wasn't touched, unfortunately, in the second one. So T1 might be looking towards that to make sure that they can have a better time in Game 2.
Yeah. Wukong going to go to 50% win rate after that one, and again, we just see the power of it. You know, it's not really this huge damage or presence in the lane. It's about his team fighting knock-up, double knock-up abilities. As most damage goes to Teddy by far. Actually, Faker had nearly the same amount of damage as the Aphelios, but I think T1 can draft much better than that. I mean, they tried to go old school with, you know, Teddy carry. You give him Karma, you give him Tom Kench, and you say, the Rift is your oyster. Do whatever you want. Carry us to the win.
That's not what they were doing, though,
we'll
because
follow you.
Faker didn't even build the Ardent Sensor. Yes, his shields are going to be giving a bunch of health back because he does have the at least first item Grail, but I don't know, man. It was weird to not see that item come in until the very end, and then it didn't actually get completed. But that was swept out from under T1. I felt like they were still in a decent position. Let's see what they can do in game number 3 after the break.
먹히면은 만약에 먹히면 먹혀드니까 쌍각 봐.
갈게
안 쳤다 안 쳤다.
그게 돈다 나
안 쳤어 얘네.
일단 클리어하면서 갈게 이거
용 쳤어. 나 친다. 야 미드로 들어와도 돼 이거 안
야
하고.
이거 미드로 가도 되는데 우리
나 미드 갈게 그러면.
미드 갈게
기둥대. 써봐.
나 미드 갈게 미드 갈게.
미드로 가. 들어가.
미드 와봐 미드 와봐.
야 게임 끝내야 되겠는데 이거?
야 끝낼만한데 이거.
좋아
미드로 끝내볼래 이거? 내가 막아볼게 얘들아.
막아봐.
우선한테 얘기해줘
야 끝나. 야 이즈 간다.
이제 갔어
이제
끝내봐.
끝낼만해 이거
야 아래타.
캐치 끊었어. 야 카르마 끊었어. 여기 3명 있어. 여기 3명 있거든?
쳐
야나 중무야 그냥 깨버려.
나이스! 나이스!
아 나이스. 잘했다.
진짜 미안
괜찮아.
저희가 강팀 상대로 강하다는 이야기가 있는데
하나가 굉장히 변칙적으로 플레이를 하는 것을 좋아하기 때문에 강팀 상대로 성적이 좋았던 것 같은데
전면 그래.
오히려 하나 팀의 플레이 스타일을 이제 더 잘 알기 때문에 좀 더 쉽게 이길 거라고 생각합니다. 그때보다는.
진짜 강팀 판독기가 아니라 저희가 강팀이 될 수 있게
고개를 안 숙이게 열심히 해야 될 것 같습니다.
바텀이 가장 핵심 라인인 것 같아요.
작년부터 이제 바이퍼 리엔즈 선수가 계속 정규 시즌 1등 했잖아요. 그래서 굉장히 강한 바텀 듀오라고 생각해서 일단 리엔즈 선수와도 친해가지고 지면 안 되기 때문에.
테디 선수 머리가 진짜 크거든요. 진짜 매 달마다 커지거든요. 그래서 빨리 테디 선수 머리를 보고 싶습니다.
일단 머리가 크긴 하고요. 슈를 보면 좀 웃긴 게 약간 맨날 원숭이상이라고 제가 놀리거든요. 원숭이 닮았다고.
네, 테디 선수가 야수 한 번만 더 해줬으면 좋겠어요.
제가 야소할 수도 있고요. 그쪽에서도 이제 달리아 판테온이라는 챔피언을 좀 더 생각이 있나 궁금하네요. 네.
판테온 달리아. 판테온 달리아는 웬만하면 안 할 것 같아요. 네, 저 이제 거기서 느낀 게 많아서. 네.
뭐 야소를 하든 뭐 다른 챔프를 하든 뭘 해도 이길 것 같아요. 작년 스프링 결승이었나요? 저희를 쉽게 이긴다 했는데 저희한테 쉽게 졌더라고요. 그래서 그 자신감은 또 자만일 때도 또 있어가지고 자신감이 넘치지 않나 우리 시우가. 그 자만을 좀 꺾어줘야겠네요.
테디야, 작년에 잘했는데 이번 연도엔 좀 아쉽더라. 재밌는 경기 하자.
하나생명 리빌딩도 많이 되고 그래서 저희는 이제 되게 호흡도 잘 맞는 단계이기 때문에 깔끔하게 2대0으로 이기도록 하겠습니다.
누가 이기든 2대1로 이기지 않을까. T1이 뭐 저희에게 져도 절대 부끄러운 게 아니니까 고개 잘 들었으면 좋겠네요.
저희 팀은 아마 고개를 숙이진 않을 것 같아요. 고개를 숙이는 건 아마 하나생명이 되지 않을까.
T1이 상대적으로 강팀인데 되게 잡으면 또 재밌잖아요. 네, 재밌는 모습 많이 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
저희가 이길 거니까 그럴 일은 없을 것 같습니다.
스프링 때도 한화생명이 T1에게 좀 스크래치를 냈듯이 이번엔 진짜 아픈 상처를 한번 제대로 한번 내보겠습니다.
That was Hana Life versus T1 game number 2. Hana Life making this series even. Was there a huge difference in terms of draft? Nothing really special. We had the similar style of game number 1. Hana Life had the team fight comp and T1 had a side lane comp. This time around it was Affiliates versus Ezreal, and T1 locked in Jax as a counter into Wukong. So during the laning phase, people thought that this can be a counter champ as Kana picked up a solo kill up against Dudu, but in the later phase, the contribution for team fights was so different in terms of the top laners. Even though Jax was having a lane kingdom during the early phase, Wukong did so much work all throughout the later team fight. T1 even in top 10, but they weren't able to solidify their macro around the side lanes. Well, in game number 1, T1 kind of refused to take the fights that Hana Life was looking for, but this time T1 was actually answering to Hana Life and they were losing most of it.
T1도 나름의 노림수는 있었던 것 같아요. 여기서
let's take a look at this team fight. Karma used his mantra Q on Viper Affiliates and Cuz kicked Nautilus looking for a knockup onto Affiliates, but Viper sidestepped away. So Jack failed to reach out to the AD carry. So T1 got the losing edge of this trade since Wukong just started his party for the fight. Well, Trundle was so low, he was almost dead, but he managed to survive, so there was no way for T1 to steal away that Dragon or win that fight. To be honest, Affiliates has better ability over Ezreal in terms of team fight without poke, so there was no reason for T1 to commit so hard for that 5 versus 5 fight. Well, even though T1 took the split push comp, this time they made a bad decision to commit for a lot of fights. And we had a very unique ending of this series here. So Hana Life, they rotated very quickly to mid lane. At first, they did not plan to this backdoor, but according to the mic check, actually, as they were poked out, rather, Lians made a call. Just we can go mid, we can end game. And Lians told the players that I can stop the recall so you guys can keep pushing. So Lians also said, I'm holding 3 players right here, so you guys can keep pushing, and the rest of the Hana Life players were asking him how many players are at the base, and Lians told them Ezreal made to the base, but Hana Life players, they were so confident that they got this, and they indeed was so outnumbered to take down the Nexus. So this was the personality or the color that the Hana fans were looking for its team. Even though the game got a little bit extended, Hana Life players were so concentrated, and also it was amazing to see Dudu make a comeback after such a hard game in game number 1. The player of the game for this game will be Dudu, who made it to the keep his mental fortitude even though getting so bullied in game 1. He was down to 0-8 or 0-9 on Mordekaiser in their earlier game, but on this Wukong, even after getting solo killed, he kept so strong. So later on, he contributed a lot during team fights. This was a huge turnaround point for Hana Life. T1 players got a little bit overextended, committing opting for that tier 2 turret, and Dudu was able to wipe out all the rest of the T1 players.
의견을 조율하면서 했다는 걸 저희가 들었기 때문에 또 이 두두 선수의 50을 많은 분들이 뽑으신 게 아닌가라는 생각이 듭니다.
So even though, yeah, indeed, Lehan's made a very smart call for the last moment of the game, but Dudu all throughout the game was the key player for the game. And maybe Wukong can be a good counter into Ezreal, because Ezreal cannot deal behind the clone of Wukong, so maybe T1 also has to keep that in mind. Then let's check out who will be the final winner of game number 3, Hana versus T1.
Thank you very much, Jisun, as usual, for the translation of your final analyst desk for this evening. Because, of course, this is the deciding match between Hanwha and T1. For some reason, the media decided that Aphelios was the reason why Hanwha Life won that game.
Yeah.
I think that there was definitely a lot more impact by Wukong, but I also think just for the game-winning play, Lehens deserves a look in, to be honest.
Ooh, look who's back.
All right.
They were talking about how he thought Curry had a good game, and that means he's getting subbed out.
Yeah,
Efforts
get
coming
next.
in. And perhaps they want to play something a little bit different. You know, they were hovering Leona, which is a effort champion, and maybe Curry was like, I don't know, I'm not too comfortable on it. And maybe they want a little bit more of a deeper champion pool that a veteran should have. Well,
I mean, I don't know. If Curry was playing
More
Tom
than Curry.
Kench, then I don't know why Effort was ever subbed out, to be honest. Effort's very good at the Tom Kench as well, so maybe just wanted to get him some screen time. Maybe Effort's lackluster performance against DRX was something that they really did add some weight to. We, of course, disregarded a little bit because Carrier is a terrifying opponent. But there you go. We'll see whether Effort is going to make the change required.
yeah, I think it's a interesting one. Because I don't think Curry had a terrible game or anything like that, but they want to make sure 100% that they win this game, and they're going to bring in their main roster for it. As T1 will re-enter here on the blue side. I don't think Hanwha Life this time around is going to give them TF, so they might let something else available, maybe a LeBlanc. Because I don't know if you want to let Ezreal go either, up against what Teddy just showed you.
Yep, Teddy was fantastic. I mean, I think Aphelios was a big problem as well, because it seems like the Ezreal versus Aphelios, it doesn't seem to matter how good the Ezreal is. In the end, the Aphelios does more. But that's, I don't know, maybe I'm just upset.
Yeah.
Trundle's going to be banned away. That Ezreal, like you were talking about, once again, going to be the second ban. Same bans, except Set is replaced by Trundle, and Aphelios is going to be banned.
There you go, T1, you figured it out.
We did it. I actually thought that Aphelios, it was impossible to ban him or something like that. Like maybe he's not in the ban.
Yeah, but Aphelios is 4-0 today.
Yeah.
Actually, having a great night is that champion. They leave Set available because they had to ban TF.
Isn't he 4-1? Because he lost in the first game. Did he lose in the first game? Was that Kalista against Aphelios? It was.
Yes, it was. Okay, so he's 4-1. Did take one loss.
Because this is Ashe.
Or I guess. Yeah, 4-1. Okay.
So
we figured it out.
This is likely to deter T1 from picking Kalista. Ashe works pretty well into the Kalista, stops her from bouncing around as fast with the Frost Shot. And the Canadian dollar is just smashed in the Graves. Like it a lot. See whether that's going to be support set, because support set with something like Kalista certainly works, but Senna is another option. Teddy hasn't had the best track record with Senna, but still is pretty powerful. See what Cuz is going to do here, though. 5 seconds to go. Could just be Nidalee, but they do like pairing it with something like the Twisted Fate, Xayah. Okay.
It's been a while.
It has. This used to be the very standard blue side lock-ins.
Yeah.
Just everyone that looks like pink with some, cream background, and that's exactly what's happening here. Everyone collectively on the same page when it comes to style.
Are they all from Demacia?
I have no idea. We don't have our lore guru with us.
Yeah, lore specialist isn't here on the desk today.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask him later.
Indeed.
Tom Kench, all of a sudden, people are like, hey, remember this guy? he can devour people.
Lands has been a pretty good one over his time in the LCK and beyond. So they are going to pick that one up. Not sure whether I like it, but there we go. Bottom lane's locked in. A flexible top lane, jungle, not support anymore because, of course, the Rakan is locked in. As the Wukong is taken away from Dudu. I actually like this. Of course, yeah, a large impact in game number 2. Jarvan taken away from Cuz is interesting. But he's going to deny sort of a favorite composition, which is like Jarvan Galio on top of these champions that are already here. It's a lot of team fight prowess. The Lovers duo. This is sending me through a bit of a loop. We've gone back in time quite a few patches.
That we have. It's been a while. And you know what's great? Into it is the Tahm Kench. You devour anyone up that does get, well, anyone. I am talking specifically about Viper on Ashe, who does get charmed by the Rakan or rooted by the Featherstorm or anything else that is already dangerous in the opponent's composition. And now Sylas is going to be banned away here.
I wonder whether that means something like an Ornn is a possibility. Actually, I don't know. With the Trundle banned, Ornn does feel like a better idea. There's nothing stopping Hanwha from picking that one away. Maybe not wanting to use it into the set. I like this. Galio picked. Would have been something that would have worked quite well in the hands of T1. Not going to happen this time around. As that's a Zed. Probably not
I'm down.
Locked in. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Certainly, you know, a physical damage dealer against a melee matchup in the mid lane that is designed to be against magic damage is fun. Ornn is the less fun decision here, which will put Set in the jungle. And there's the Azir. Wow. Oh, this is the most standard 2019 comp I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah. And to think T1 could have gone for something similar in game number 2, but instead they decided to draft a more fun composition. This is, you know, we can definitely have a little bit of a lull state with this one. As a last-second change, perhaps, into Karma. I actually do like the Azir, to be honest. But we're going to go with the Karma, it seems.
Oh, that means that they don't have a lot of magic damage. Ornn doesn't do quite enough, and you're basically support as Karma. I guess you do augment your AD carry a little bit if you do end up actually building the Ardent Sensor, but there's the Kayle. Kanna's going to have a taste of his own medicine by the looks of things, unless Cuz is going to be playing jungle Ornn like a savant.
Whoa.
But are you actually going to play Set into Kayle and be happy about it? I'm not entirely sure, and I highly doubt that that is going to be the outcome.
Yeah, it's not going to happen that way. We are going to see jungle Set. I know literally Set is not very happy whenever Set does go into the jungle. He thinks it's more of a top/support champion.
Yeah, it does require some items.
Yeah. So, we'll see how that one does work out up against the Graves there in the jungle. As Dudu, he says, let me just carry you guys. Their first time up against Other One Prince, I wasn't actually... You know, I actually did enjoy his play. I thought he did show some nice moments, and I thought he was a capable player. Well, this game 3 against T1, this is the perfect time to prove it.
Oh, yeah.
For real this time on the Kayle.
And T1 need to prove to us that this extraordinarily standard front-to-back composition is going to work out. The Lovers duo back again. After seeing some fringe play, I guess, and there were a lot of AD carry bans, but with Kalista, like, Kalista Taric was available, for example. They could have just locked that in.
Yeah, true.
Whether that would have been better or worse, not entirely sure. But Kalista being picked into Ashe, not necessarily something that you want to do. So here we go. This is what they're up against. The Kayle, the Graves, the Galio, and then the Ashe Tahm Kench. It's giving me Praying Gorilla vibes on the bottom side of the map here for Hanwha Life, and that always makes me feel happy and sad at the same time.
Will we ever have that kind of duo again? Such an iconic one. We have...
I mean, I think
many that are similar.
I think Deft and Carrier is starting to become similar.
Deft Mata.
Deft Mata is definitely the OG. Although when they were in China, they didn't play together. Deft and Mako were a beautiful combination on
Deft
EDG.
and anyone.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Deft's pretty good at this game.
From about 2014 onwards. But I think Hummer Life had one of the most iconic duos in the bottom lane, and T1 did as well. I mean, Bang and Wolf, I think, will always be there in the history books as one of the best bottom lanes. Maybe not towards the very end, but certainly in their heyday.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, Prey and Gorilla from Rocks, but also Songyun and Key from Rocks themselves, I guess, until they became Hummer Life. As Faker is just bullying the Gargoyle just a little bit.
Yeah. So, the set jungle definitely does offer some pretty nice gank potential. The only thing is that once you get towards the later game, as you mentioned, it doesn't build up items or experience and levels quite as well as a solo lane. So it doesn't offer as much. You think about it in the support role, it becomes just full only tanky items and fulfills that role from there. But we'll have to see. I mean, I know that other regions are playing it now and again. They do like their set in general, just a great champion right now. So no surprise that the second it's not banned, it does show up here. If I look at the LCK ratings before today, it had 14 games of presence, not including the earlier series today, and it only got played twice. So it gets banned very often here in the LCK.
Don't know whether he quite deserves it. I think I'm in LS's camp when it comes to the set priority being a little bit strange. Even when we did see him, it wasn't super impressive. But that's okay. Cuz moving up towards the top side. The Graves is going to find him. Smite not quite available here from Cuz. He's just still going to wander forward and just walk in and steal away the big one. All right, all too easy.
Nice.
Would have thought maybe Graves would have gone for a little bit more as Dudu underneath his turret. I actually really like Kale as an answer to Ornn. Just because it's fun to opt in to the greed. And Dudu, of course, wanting to get quite a few levels under his belt before he really is oppressive.
Yeah, from 1 to 6, he's not going to be super happy, but she, I suppose, Kale, talking about here, is eventually going to, you know, get some range and be able to bully Ornn a bit. Although Ornn never truly gets bullied out of lane, anything that can sit there and farm alongside it and scale a bit better is going to feel pretty good about that. So we'll see how Dudu does do.
Dudu does do.
Yes.
Like it. I assume he does relatively well.
How he does Dududunga is very important for us. We need to figure that out. Cuz has been very in the face of the enemy jungler so far, although Cat isn't over there. He's over, he's ready, he's waiting for the Gromp. He knows the exact timing on it. And he's just going to go ahead, steal that away.
Yeah, in the meantime, we've got a bit of a shove here towards the bottom side. Effort and Teddy moving on up, ahead by a little bit of farm, but that's going to be neutralized here by Viper. As it looks like the Ash Tahm Kench, very, very comfortable underneath this turret. Hens looking a little bit hungry, otherwise completely fine. Volley going to slow down Teddy a little bit. Grand entrance going to be denied by the Devour. And that's how this interaction should generally go.
Yeah, we're going to see that about 20 more times in this game. They're just going to go at it down there on the bottom side, and it's part of the reason why people aren't super happy whenever they see Tahm Kench, because a lot of the time he denies action, where it's like, oh, you wanted to fight? Oh, actually, never mind. Tahm Kench is in the game. And especially when it was the Ezreal Tahm Kench and like Azir meta, it's like, you know, nobody's dying. Nobody's going to try to go for ganks because the percentage chance that they work is so low. It's like, we'll just farm up our jungle on our tank jungler to eventually support our teammate in the late game. And yeah, I'm glad that we've kind of moved a bit away from the 2019 meta. We've expanded a bit.
Oh dear. Faker expecting Miro to move underneath his turret. Does manage to get the Cannon creep though, it's Cuz, not quite level 6, so not stopping any shows at this point. There's Canna, he is. So he's looking to try and take down Dudadunga. Gets a teleport out of Miru. He's just going to move underneath his turret and laugh it off. Cad's here looking for a dive, but he might be a little bit too early as Cuz is going to move on over as well. And Cuz has a level advantage on a Graves. So I don't know what went wrong. There's been some dark technology employed, but Set is out farming and out leveling a Graves.
Yeah, we saw the steal on the top Gromp, or the Krug, and then we saw the steal on the Gromp, on the right side of the map. And it's little stuff like that where Cuz recognizes exactly what the jungle matchup is going to look like and what Graves is trying to do. That makes him a great jungler. He's got amazing jungle sense, and he has great reads on his opponents. And so he's able to get in there, steal yet another camp away. He's got the timers on these things now. And he's using that to his advantage to say, okay, you want to sit back and farm? I'm going to just try to play you at your own game and try to steal your farm, as now he's mid.
Yeah, and it looks like Canna's going to be able to grab himself a turret plate here top lane, which is pretty impressive. Just going to demolish that one, like you were talking about. Cuz moving towards the mid lane. Miro just going to justicely punch his way underneath this turret. And now we've got Rakan and Set looking glorious, very anime, and looking to try and steal away a blue buff.
Yeah, very flashy champions. The two of them.
Faker going to be here as well. Smoke screen goes down, and Cuz is going to be able to get the smite. Steals it away from Cad. And I just don't understand how this Set jungle is dictating the pace of the jungle against a Graves. That shouldn't be how this goes. But as it turns out, it's what's happening here in this game.
Kind of, you know, even ascending beyond the champions, it feels like veteran jungler versus rookie jungler, you know?
Yeah.
And Cuz is proving that, hey, I'm not going to let you just have a free jungle this time around. He's being extremely proactive and aggressive everywhere on the map, and both jungles are his right now. He's taken so many camps from Graves. He's taken the Infernal Drake.
His whole jungle is full.
Yeah. How about the Rift Herald as well? It's Cuz land right now that we're living in.
Yep. And it's bountiful. It is definitely bountiful. As he's getting a little bit trolled by Shelly here. Just hit you. Okay, there we go. And okay, another knockup. As another ulti comes out from Canna as well. Cuz is going to spot out Cad, who does still have some fight left in him. Showstopper is up. Cuz can turn this if he would like to, but Canna's going to have to go home. No teleport available. And now Dudu's going to get some time with this turret and actually get a decent lead when it comes to experience and gold. So that's going to be a lot denied. In fact, looks like Canna doesn't want to give this one up. Faker moving on over with Cuz.
Yeah. We've been checking the bottom lane over and over here. There's just been nice pushing as, okay.
I'm not sure what that was out of Canna, but they do manage to get the snare onto Dudu. Cuz is just going to take Sir Grompulus down. Cad's in here though, and Miru's going to join him. Heroic entrance is available.
This is all kind of stemming from Kana being so low and refusing to back. He's been so low for so long that it's like, okay, I guess we just don't have a top laner. And he hasn't really been able to help out, especially with his ultimate down. So he's kind of just sitting up there. Finally went back. It does mean the enemy gets your blue, but you got to be happy with the way the jungle has been going with so far, and the lead that Cuz has been able to build for himself.
Yeah, we have to remember that Faker did manage to get Dudu's flash, which is good news. It means that Cuz can go for a wraparound gank if the KO is going to continue pushing. It's going to be a little bit dangerous as Faker inspires his way towards Miru, but unfortunately smacks a minion in the face with his inner fire. Nails that one though, there we go. Trying to get some damage mitigation, but able to get at least the experience from the cannon creep. Died in front of Miru though.
Yeah.
Don't want to risk it.
And T1 have just been slowly building up leads in all the lanes. This can be part of the problem when you draft lanes that are weakish, such as a Kale or even like an Ashe Tom Kench, who sometimes can have, you know, if they have an aggressive jungler, they can actually make plays happen and get aggressive. But because Cuz has just totally made this Graves obsolete in even farming his own jungle, let alone, you know, attacking lanes, it's just been all push and aggression down on the bottom side. Like, the arrow comes in and they're like, well, we can't do anything, nobody's here. Just trying to stop him from taking another plate. So bot's getting plates, mid is ahead slightly here for Faker, winning in the CS farm in that kind of, you know, snooze fest resident sleeper lane. And then of course Ornn is always going to have a fun time up against pretty much any lane, especially against a weaker lane like Kale.
Yep, of course the idea of picking Kale into Ornn is that they both sit back and farm generally, and you can see they both have sat back and farmed. Yeah. Can has tried to go aggressive. We've seen some fumblings and some decent trades as Teddy wanders through this brush. It is a bit invisible at this point in time. Why isn't it there, Valdez? Where's the brush?
What?
It's gone.
What
brush?
Come back. What do you mean?
Whoa. All right, Faker's going to get knocked up. The Ignite down very prematurely there as Cad trying to get in range. The taunt was beautiful, and that's collateral damage right there. If ever I've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm alive. Pretty textbook.
It's great follow-up on just recognizing who's got what summoners. They say, you know, you guys might have forgotten it, but 2-3 minutes earlier, he flashed to try to get Dudu to flash. T1 didn't follow up on getting that summoner out of Kale, but HLE followed up on Faker losing his own flash as Galio can't lock you down for so long.
Yep, well, there's the Devour doing some work there as the quickness comes in. Teleport does come out as Battle Dance used by Effort, but he's still down. Pretty low on health. There's the flash forward. Oh, the taunt, max range, but the Showstopper should be able to save him. Oh, it barely does. As the arrow does snipe him out, but the Galio is going to get punished. And there's Shelly in the bottom lane as well, because she sensed a party and she wants to join. Dudu down here, but only level 9. Wants level 11 before you really start getting strong. And there we go. Charge gonna happen. And a bunch of extra gold over to Cuz.
Just gonna gobble that up, feel pretty happy about himself. Faker, he didn't have teleport, he's just pushing, just trying to reclaim his lane after Galio made his way down to the bottom side with this teleport gank that didn't quite pan out. It was nearly the arrow snipe, which we don't often see here.
Yeah, for the kill. I like it.
The executioner's arrow, if you will. But didn't quite pan out that time around. And it was a, okay, we're gonna take a look at this first. Faker, just too aggressive with no flash. I mean, he didn't see Cad, but he doesn't have, I suppose he had decent vision, but at the same time.
나이스. 예, 좀 갈렸다.
Nice.
이거 갈리면 내가 1대1 할게.
언제까지 실드로 괴롭힐 거야?
한 푸시 할게. 아, 침착하고.
이거 아래 조심해.
How long are you gonna bully me with shield? Okay, we got that real-time translation.
That's real cute. As Viper and Lens, this was their little escapade towards the bottom side as Mirror obviously feeling something.
Viper autoed Teddy once. And if he had hit Effort instead, he would have died.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can never calculate that really, but you got to be careful, you know. You got to make sure all your autos are falling in the right spot.
Hindsight is a little bit more 2020.
For sure.
But it's Teddy. Featherstorm back available relatively soon. Sort of does help you out against the arrow that can fly forward. Keep that aggression up whilst going untargetable. Certainly feels good. Steady clears out these little Krugs and will now defend his lane. Turret plates fell down 50 seconds ago, and so Viper's not able to find too much. And yeah, 7 extra turret plates going over to T1. That's why you can see a 1,000 gold lead. Not to mention 2 Drakes being picked up here in 50 seconds. We will have our third, a very early Ocean Soul possibility here for T1. If HLE don't stop them from freely taking the Ocean Drake, you'd imagine that they will definitely be in the market for trying to do that.
Yeah. I mean, you consider late game for both teams. T1's late game is not bad, but when you're going up against Kale, Graves, Ashe, I think that team is more often than not going to be better in the late game. So HLE, they have this added pressure because they have to handle Ocean Soul, because even if your team is great in the super late game, you're going up against a team in the mid to late game who has Ocean Soul. You're not really going to win if T1 is playing their cards right. So, as you mentioned, that's really going to be the main focal point for both teams to handle. T1 would love to just roll straight into Ocean Soul really quickly.
Oh, arrow's going to land here onto Cuz. He will have a whole bunch of grip built up, so that Haymaker is going to hurt. They do wait it out, though, as there's the heroic entrance. For some reason.
Yeah, it was kind of like, let me teleport over here or something. Didn't really help in the engage.
I guess so. Maybe they were assuming that T1 were going to go further forward. They've corralled them, though, have T1. Canna makes his way into the mid lane, like you say. Dudu's on the top side. He's singing a song to himself, having a good time. He's going to be able to take that one down, but that's going to mean Soul Point goes over to T1, and I think they're very happy to give up a top outer turret in order to secure that. Time of Life thinking about taking down Shirley. I'm glad Shelly and Shirley stuck around. MSC, we lost Agatha and Bertha. Now we have Grompulus and Gromtilda.
The full names.
Yeah, I just give them shorter ones.
Yeah. Gromp and Gromp are my... that's usually what I like to go for.
Oh my goodness, what is that? There's no respect given. It reminds me of Sir Thomas Kench and then Timothy Kenchins. You know?
Yeah. Just Timmy.
Yeah.
Timmy K.
I like Timothy Kenchins, you know.
Yeah. It has attitude, you know.
Yeah. I like giving him that added respect of at least reading out his full name.
Fair enough.
Even if he is a peasant.
We haven't seen him much in recent times. He took a little break. Maybe he was unhappy with our nicknames.
Yeah.
To practice a little bit and gain his strength back. Efforty's going for a little walk here.
Yeah, will find himself a Kayle. He gets pinged immediately and we'll back out. Teddy up here towards the top side of the map, just looking to try and finish off that turret, which is pretty low. Viper will take a fair bit of damage from Faker. We are in a lull state though, guys. That's why we're talking about funny names for Gromps and things like that. As Ardent Sensor is finally built. So Faker took him a couple of games to get there, but does get there as Cuz takes the wrong way round. Haymaker does some work as Viper's going very aggressive. Dudu versus Teddy, and Teddy just explodes him. Okay, ulti at the ready. He's saving his ulti for the Death Chamber. Interesting.
Yeah, I know we haven't seen Xayah in a long time, but you guys got to remember that her feathers do a lot of damage when there's a lot of them on the ground. That's my professional analysis for you guys right there.
Thank you very much, Valdanalist.
Just underestimating the Xayah damage and Dudu, I suppose, overestimating his own. It's hard sometimes, the split-second decisions and mechanics you got to pull off, but these are pros, and we should hold them to a high standard.
Indeed.
Got to make sure.
I mean, pressing an R button.
Quick on that one.
Pressing an R button, he could have done that at any point. And yeah, Teddy still had his, so I guess maybe that was the problem. He wanted to make sure he got Teddy's ultimate out and then used his in order to take him down. However, he's just going to kill you. Doesn't actually matter. Yeah. Scanner's very close to level 13, and that's going to make Teddy even more scary.
Let's just see. Lines up the feathers really nicely. Yeah.
Interesting. We're back into some action, though. That's going to stop us from having to talk about that ever again.
Yeah, let's shelve that one.
Yep. Forever. That was some doo-doo. We had the
Take it away.
We had the doo-doo donga.
Yes.
In game 2,
and now it's just doo-doo.
Just doo-doo now.
Oh,
we need the donga. We need the donga to come back. And I think that you know, Dudu is the kind of player to get better as the game goes on. Certainly happened in game number 2. We do have a small sample size for what was experienced of Dudu's play.
You know how the collective has their really funny original fake names for when players are not playing well? Well,
oh, yeah.
Dudu's already he's already given them one.
Yeah.
To,
that was not a difficult one for them
very
to
easy
come up
for them.
to.
Yep.
Still, they did it.
Not a lot of
I'm very proud of you guys.
And then when he pops off, he's Dudu.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Straightforward. As this game might be for T1. I mean, at this point, your Xayah is just massive. And Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul point is on the line here.
In 1 minute,
in
yeah.
1 minute. Cat is okay. Just gonna back away.
Oh, we bought boots twice. No, never mind. That's Viper's items. Earlier Blade of the Ruin King for Viper did okay there, but the Infinity Edge coming in is that's real scary news, as he is ahead by a lot of gold. And it's going to mean that this Ocean Soul fight is very, very scary. Grand Entrance is fantastic. Faces broken everywhere as the Showstopper puts Cat into the backline. He flashes, trying to get to safety, and there is a brilliant Devour to make sure he survives. But honestly, I feel like that was the battle that actually lost them the war. Because now positional advantage around this Ocean Drake spawning in 20 seconds is going to entirely belong to T1. Life, an opportunity to regroup. But the volleys aren't doing anything. T1 feels like they have Hanwha exactly where they want them. Teddy laying down the feathers. Hens is at half health. Dudu as well, as Faker is landing a lot of poke. In goes the Grand Entrance. Good zoom there onto Effort, as that's a 3-man taunt from Miru. Gets the ulti out of Dudu as well, but the stopwatches are there. And look, just watch Teddy auto-attacking.
Oh.
Real scary. But now we're watching him just get murdered. Taken down by the Kale. I am very sorry for jinxing it, as the low health bars. You can understand exactly why he got baited, as Cuz is going to Hex Flash over. Try and take down Cat. Another Grand Entrance, interrupting the Blast Cone. That's the jungler. His teleport back in now from Miru. He still has his heroic entrance available. Canna is pretty tanky, but I don't know whether he's tanky enough. Great ult into the backline there from Faker. Yep, Cuz looks for the Haymaker, but there's the Grand Entrance. Cuz gets the Face Breaker in there. The Inspire Shield is gigantic. And T1 are buying so much time. It's 5 seconds and Teddy is back up again. And now Hanwha have to back away. That was the weirdest fight.
That was really strange, actually. Hanwha did have a fantastic engage onto Teddy, honestly, in the river with the Kale ultimate on top of Galio, who threw himself in there and taunted.
Why is this happening?
But to extend it that far with the Galio TP and then not stick around at least to try to contest the Ocean Soul, because once you lose it, I mean, this is the play I'm thinking of, where Galio gets in the backline with the Kale ultimate. They nearly burst down Teddy entirely, and not as much damage is given the other way, so they reset. And then actually a great play here by Viper, where he slows down Teddy, who has pretty much nothing.
He had a bit of a rush of blood to the head, exactly as I was talking about Teddy doing a lot of damage. So
then, yeah,
a bit sad.
Cad made a little bit of a oopsie there. He shouldn't be trying to go for the for the plant that slows you down when he doesn't know where the vision is over the wall. And then they try to re-engage here with the Miru re-entrance, but Rakan is a little bit better at that. And then you're thinking, oh man, they're pretty close here. But at the end of the day, they're like, oh, actually, Faker's full health. I guess we all have to back away and give them Ocean Soul. I'm like, I don't know. I think you guys should have at least tried. But as you did mention, Teddy was coming up in 5 seconds.
Well, there's a Grand Entrance. That's a Deadlands. Face broken. And now the turret is going to suffer the same fate. Meanwhile, picture-in-picture, you may have noticed that Viper and Teddy traded ultimates. And T1 now have Ocean Soul. So maybe it's just game over.
Yes.
As in goes Cuz. Okay, is he gonna stop the show? Are we ever? No, we're not. No show. No stopping the show. No making the hay.
No.
Not doing anything. We're just gonna run in and die, I guess. This game's weird.
Yeah.
Still. He likes Hex Flash, I think. I don't know.
It's pretty good on the jungle set, I'll have to say. This is just Lahen's out of position. Well done by Effort. Able to get in there. Pretty straightforward. And then the follow-up, you can understand what he's going for. He goes behind the wall. He's like, oh, I should be able to get behind Cad here. And he kind of messes up the angle and gets taunted and dies. So, again, another bit of a whoopsie. We've had a bit of those. It's getting late here in Korea. It's about 11:30. Perhaps the players are getting a little bit fatigued as the games come along.
Yeah. And it was a very good taunt. Very good taunt out of Miru as well. So not a lot of options there for Cuz, so I might have been a little bit mean, but still, not exactly the play you necessarily need to make. Be a little bit more reserved than that, as Teddy got a bunch of gold. He's 2,000 in the lead. Just soaking up more and more farm on this map. And the Baron possibly going to be the next port of call for T1. Elder Drake going to be spawning in 3 minutes' time. They've got Ocean Soul, so you may as well just go for as many fights as possible. Molten Edge completed onto Teddy. And Faker going to go for his Rabbidan's Death Cap as item number 3. And that is just going to mean that he'll do a heck of a lot of extra damage and shielding, more importantly. But then he can also get the best upgrade from the ornament.
So you consider the game state right now. We're at, okay, never mind.
I think Viper's just going to be dead. Quick just comes down. Viper pops like a balloon. Lahens is going to get visited by a big ram that gets quite upset. Cuz gets exhausted, but he doesn't care. Stops the show.
Okay.
And the Zaya is going to take him down. So maybe no Baron required, as Teddy just tanks up this turret in front of a Kayle and isn't able to take it down just yet. But as you can see, with the help of Faker, he'll have all of that health back. And Hum Alive, not sure what they're going to be able to do here. Collateral damage just to try and take down the minion wave, but they've got a bit of health left on this siege minion, and that's all they need to be able to lock this one down. Counter looks for the knock up through the wall. That was actually pretty cute. Doesn't work though, as Cad is just going to have to walk out of there. They're just ignoring Dudu. It's like he's invisible.
Yeah, he's still 2 levels away.
Mr. Seller Kayle. Fane.
Yeah.
That was a Chicago joke. I don't know whether I'm going to go for one of those again.
Not your audience.
Yeah.
Not the right audience.
Not everyone's a boomer like me.
Yeah. Well,
although the stage show was very recently out, and it was actually quite good. This is Viper dying.
I mean, you don't have vision in your own jungle. You can't be that far up. It's been a while since we've seen Rakan. Maybe he didn't expect that amount of speed to come in, but I mean, he doesn't have flash, and I don't know where Lahens was exactly. He got there a little bit too late. Maybe he was just saying, okay, I have Tahm Kench, I should be fine, but the rapidity with which the Rakan gets in there is a little bit too fast for the slower Tahm Kench to catch up with. And then he gets baited into the fight, he dies. And then Galio gets baited into the fight, he dies. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's the flow-on effect of just disaster mounting on top of disaster. Gold lead's still under 4,000, actually, somehow. As Kayle has been farming very well in these side lanes, and it seems like Cat has still been able to get around and find himself some farm. But I'm looking at this this Zaya, blast from the past. Of course, you know, this was one of Teddy and Effort's scariest combos that they've ever had together. Not a bad option to go for when they are finally reunited. Did Teddy spend some time with another support? But I want Canada to move over towards Faker, upgrade that hat, and then T1 end the game.
That's the, yeah, that's
Cad
the plan.
might just die. Okay, Battle Dance comes in. That's a phenomenal grand entrance to lock down that kill. And Teddy just walked up to 3 people and killed one of them, and now he has full health as he walks away.
He's pretty fit at this point.
That's 4 people this time. We're upgrading.
Flashed in.
Yep. Faker going to try and lock them down. Effort takes half of his health bar, but is able to get out. The exhaust. Will that stop Teddy? I don't think so. Lahens just gets taken down. Now, Dudu, I don't know. He had the opportunity to ult, decided that that wasn't a good opportunity, and Cuz is trying to show us the power of jungle set as he solos down this Elder Drake. Valdez, I hazard to say, this game's over.
The game has ended. Close up the shops. Close up the doors. I don't think that Homolife are going to be able to stop this massive push of Elder and Baron. We talked about their late game potential, and Kayle is close to 16. But is that enough to hold off this amount of value? I don't believe so.
Oh my god, he called the flash.
Okay.
I don't know whether he meant that, but it was cool.
I think he did.
All right, write down that pog. Write down that pog for me on your sheet.
Yeah,
yep, there you go.
No.
Yeah, perfect. Nailed it. He's
not this game. I can give my check mark to Teddy already.
Yeah, that's true. I think you can actually feel free to write that down.
Yeah, actually, I will.
Yeah. Although Canna did just give Faker a really cool hat.
Great.
That was that's pretty cool.
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 Doing my best LS impression. Great.
Well, T1 are now going to take a Baron for free. Cuz is going to spend some time stopped for a moment.
Okay.
That won't deter him.
Yeah. No, with Elder for a minute and a half longer. You can see that Hololife's only choice is to send Kale to a solo lane. As we got a little level up sign there next to Kale.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that's because that's a good level up. Now she's ascended. Bit too little too late at this point. Elder Drake's still going to be active for another minute. They use the Elder to move into the Baron, and they'll use that to move into both of these side lanes. Inhibitor dead for another 45 seconds or so. And so that will be coming back up just in time for T1 to roll on down and destroy it again.
Yeah. If I had to take a look at this game and somebody asked me, do you want to take the level 16 Kale with her current items or the level 17 Teddy Zaya with his items, who would you choose? I think the answer is pretty obvious. I don't think that the Kale, it doesn't matter how hyper-scaly of a champion she is, I don't know who would be able to stand up to this Zaya right now.
Especially when his R button seems to be disabled.
Yes.
Oh, no, pressed it.
Okay.
Tower. A little bit wasted there as the Ram looks for the Kale. Isn't able to find her. So just as I say it, at least Dudu does keep himself alive with that ulti, but has to use everything. And now, that inhibitor going down, doors have been opened as Cad, I think he was there, not entirely sure, as the Zhonya's is used by Nero. He'll be eaten a little bit later. That's the double kill. This is going to be the triple. Are we going to be able to get the penta for Teddy? Lehens is going to go golden, buying some time here. As Teddy should be able to take down the Tom Kench. As now Viper's just running for the hills. Oh, I think it's the rest of his team, by the way, that's telling him that he needs to get the penta. And Teddy's just like, nah, I don't really mind.
We're going to lock him down. Wait, no Teddy? Okay, well, they got the kill at least.
That was Viper's fault, 100% Viper's fault. But T1 will find their first match win of 2020 summer up against Hanwha Life, able to get some of the demons off their back, to be honest, because Hanwha were definitely more difficult for T1 in the spring season than they should have been. You know, they punch above their weight to Hanwha, and this was definitely a slugfest. But T1 certainly should be very happy to pick up their first win here and get themselves back on track. Because I know there are many T1 fans out there, but also these are our spring champions. This is the team that you know, was a bit disappointing at MSC. We wanted to see them bounce back, and we wanted to see them bounce back strongly.
What's this? What was that?
It's a little cheerful thingy, I guess.
Oh, here.
I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Gotta show them my player of the game vote. We saw that the cameraman voted for effort. So production has voted for effort. He had a great game, too.
He actually did. I wouldn't mind if it went to him.
His mid-game engages were extremely clean. And he showed us, hey, remember me? I'm the guy that can play like Rakan, and I do really good engages sometimes. And
what is he now? 14-2 on the champion?
On Rakan?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what he's at?
I think it was 13-2. They had the stat that came up at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, he's pretty good on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, when Rakan came into the meta, it was a time where, you know, T1 were doing a fair bit of winning. It wasn't, I think it was, 2019, early 20...
Maybe 2018.
Was it 2018? Because that would have been really bad.
End of 2018.
Yeah, so if it's end of 2018, then that feels a little bit better.
He came in with Zaya. I think it was like end of 2018.
End of 2018.
2019 was when the actual meta happened, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. My old boomer brain here after 7 hours on the broadcast has proceeded to melt just a little bit. But we did have some really good games, Valdanalis.
For sure.
Glad that you went the distance alongside me, you know, and we will be back for our final day of summer for 2020, week 1 tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you meant the whole summer.
It's over. We just do 1 week, and then we wait for Worlds.
Imagine that was like the way it went, and leagues weren't a thing. It was like just a weekend tournament.
Yep.
That was the end of it.
Just do 1 week.
We declared T1 the winner.
Yeah, and there's 10 teams, and they don't even all play each other.
Yeah, no.
It's just, you just got a few.
This team seemed like the best, so we're going to send them to the
Yes. It's like
in that case, we're sending the RX.
It's a judgment-based system. So, yeah, that was Teddy killing Kale.
Yeah, that was Teddy killing Kale. And Teddy had many highlights. Effort had many highlights. If I if I had my way, I would just give them both POG. I gave it to Teddy. I feel like he had more pop-off individual moments. Not to take anything away from Effort, who also had an insane amount of individual pop-off moments. And so
This
the two of them
certainly being one of them, right?
carried the team together and did a great job in that.
I think Cuz also deserves a mention for being probably one of our most successful set jungles that we've seen for a really long time. Faker was clutch right here as Cuz decides he wants to go back in. And Faker's like, I got you, brother. Don't you worry. As, yep, down to about 100 health. And then Faker comes in with a few charges on that Athene's Unholy Grail. And boosts him right back up again. But yeah, it is feeling a little bit like the Effort highlight reel.
I mean, there was a lot of Teddy highlights, to be honest, earlier on. And now that was like Lahen's getting out of position. I want to see Effort's play onto Viper. I feel like that was his best moments where he's like, hey, remember what Rakan can do exactly. The angle is perfect. The engage is stellar. And he baits the entirety of Hanwha team into the fight. Gets 3 of them. There you go.
Yeah. And actually looking at that cosplay again, Mira's taunt timing was absolutely perfect. It was actually right before he pressed the showstopper button and died within that moment. So really, really clean. However, not enough to actually get them a win, because this is when Teddy decided that he's just more than happy to walk up to 4 people.
Yeah.
He's just that fed.
After these highlights, before it I wasn't 100% sure, but I stand by my vote of Teddy.
Yep.
As we're gonna listen in.
안 죽어. 난 뺄게.
It's not dying.
나 살려줘. 야잘 끝내 잘 끝내. 펜타. 펜타야? 펜타.
안 된다.
I think it's Kana who's saying that.
되는데?
돼?
야, 잡아야 돼.
It's like, I think we can get it. I think it's Penta.
아 밀어.
I think it's Penta time.
아야 빨리. 잡아 그냥. 아 그냥 끝내.
야 잡아.
Teddy's like, get him, please.
아이폰 선생님.
Yeah, he screamed. I think it was Viper, Teacher Viper, or something. Viper Sun's name.
Yeah.
And he went down as he screamed it. So there you go. That's
Only
a pretty
the
big number.
Yeah, he did a lot of damage.
Over 1,000.
Yeah. Pretty ludicrous, actually. He did over 20,000 more than his lane opposition, who did the second highest damage on his team.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
I'm not sure about that Ashe in that comp.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I thought
theoretically
theoretically
decent pick, but like, I don't know.
they picked
They
it,
have to wait for late game.
and
all
they
the
picked
time.
it super early as well. What they could have potentially done was picked it 3rd on red side, and let T1 actually pick the Kalista first, and then gone from there. It's a possibility. Instead, they pick it face up. So, not entirely sure, but we are going to see that it's Effort that picks up player of the game. We'll see how silly the Valdanis looks with his Teddy vote, but honestly, kill participation at 15 minutes at 100%. This guy was all over the map. Didn't die once as Rakan, which is huge. Actually, don't know how many times you see that, because Rakan's so squishy and so engagey that it is very hard to keep yourself alive all game, but Effort did it.
Yeah, I mean, his Rakan is really flashy. He's a great Rakan player, but I feel like the majority of his picks in this game specifically were taking advantage of the enemy's bad positioning and shutting them down and really facilitating his team to do the majority of the damage. So nicely done by him this time around, as this is another Effort highlight that Teddy got it going. It was kind of like the two of them were just playing so well together.
Yeah,
that's why they both just looked fantastic in this game.
It was an I miss you victory.
It really was, you know?
It was beautiful.
Teddy looked good with Curry, but then the second Effort comes in, he's like next level.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm home.
Yeah.
That was very, very clean stuff. And of course, Zyra Khan, a notable duo, you know, lore-wise.
Sure.
So it's fitting that when Effort comes back, the band is brought back together and they play just like that. Absolutely amazing stuff. So really clean from T1. Probably would have wanted a 2-0 here tonight. However, a win is a win. And they're going to be able to even things out. And I believe we've got an interview coming up very, very shortly. And we are going to be able to have a chat to T1 after what was you know, a less successful week one than maybe they were expecting.
Yeah, I think it definitely could have been cleaner, but losing to DRX, I think, is there's no shame in that right now. They're looking really good, so hopefully they can move on from here and continue to do well. Let's hear from Effort and Faker.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ethan with the Universe Translation, and we'll be hearing from Effort, Teddy, Effort and Faker from T1.
첫 승을 했는데 지난 경기
Yeah, this is our first win. Well, sadly we dropped the series last time, so
이기고 나니까 아쉬움이 남는
well, it's a little bit sad that we are not at 2-win stack so far. And Effort, you subbed in a very decisive moment. Yeah, I subbed in game number 3, then I was able to get a win to secure the first win of the summer split. Yeah, we were a little bit surprised to see Curry starting game today. What was the plan in subbing in as a starter?
아무래도 제가 좀 저번 DRX
Well, in the last DRX series, I made some mistakes, so we wanted to try Curry this time.
약간의 뭐 또 책임 부분도 있었던 것 같긴 하네요. 네. 아, 자 페이커 일단은 하나생명이
Faker.
두두 뭐
Hana Life, they tried a new roster filled with rookie players, Dudu, Cat, and Miru.
일단 처음 출전한 선수들이다 보니까
Well, they are new players,
경기에서 긴장을 한 듯한
so I could
모습
tell that they were a bit
되게
nervous throughout the game.
좀 신인답게 플레이를
And
하는 걸 보고
I saw them
되게
playing as
제가 처음에
rookie players,
그때가 좀 생각나요.
so that kind of reminded me of my rookie years as well.
잃을 게 별로 없거든요. 예.
I mean,
저는 그 신예지랑 붙으면
Faker, yeah, I mean, he has nothing to lose. But do you feel like nervous going against the rookie players, or do you feel extra confident or comfortable against them?
맞대결을 딱 하게 되면 데뷔전하는 선수들 보면 어때요?
How do you feel seeing the rookie players having their debut games?
고인물 선수들이랑
I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a rookie or whether it's a veteran.
평범 뭐 평소처럼 했던 것 같아요.
Just as usual.
네, 그래서 먼저 일단 1세트에서 정말 완벽에 가까운
Let's go back to game number 1. T1 pulled off a perfect macro, and the core was the B1 Twisted Fate. It's not an easy pick to go blind pick.
일단 신인 선수들도 많고
There were a lot of rookie players on the Hana side, and we thought that they will be weak in terms of macros.
아, 네. 저는 또 에포트 선수에게
And Woded has a question over to Effort.
오랜만에 자야 라칸이 나왔잖아요. 요즘
Zaya
또
Rakan,
메타
going back to the old days.
다양한 챔피언들이 쓰이고 있는데
So that was a bit of an off-meta pick. So what was the reason for using those comp?
원거리 딜러 벤이 좀 많이 된 상태여서
We had a lot of ADC ban today.
자야라칸이 좀
So
위티어에
Zaya and Rakan was able to climb up the ladder.
선수가 나왔으니까 이 미드 구도에 대해서 하나 여쭤보고 싶었던 게
I have a question about the mid matchup. Syndra is getting a lot of highlights right now, just like Ezreal in the bottom lane. So as a very famous Syndra master, I mean, you even got a skin for this champion. So what's your thought on this champion? I mean, if I have a right situation, I can always use it. In LCK, I mean, there are a lot of mid laners that they are good at Syndra, so whenever we have a right situation, we will be able to watch a really good Syndra game. Just we have to hold on to it.
죄송하지만 그 두 번째 경기
I also want to ask you about game number 2, that backdoor loss. And also some of the critics were mentioning the karma itemization. It was a full damage build, but after losing that game, like what kind of feedback did you guys have about, especially about the itemization? I mean, it might have looked like a full damage temp item build, but I thought that was the most efficient one. But it was just us making too many mistakes. I guess that was a very efficient damage build, but can you be more specific about it? Well, in terms of cooldown reduction and also about the AP, so I thought that was a nice choice. So I also want to ask you about the collab ad, you know, the commercial, like K-pop star, especially the lines. Which one was the perfect one?
저희 사이에서는 이제 칸나 선수의
The player thinks that
오늘 내 컬러
the Kanna's line.
컬러로 말하기가 좀 인기가 있어요.
The how do I feel today? Let me tell you in colors. That was the Kanna's quote.
저는 광고를 못 봐가지고
Faker.
어떤 게
I haven't seen the commercial yet, so I cannot really choose one. And Faker's line was, "Can you turn up the lights because I want to see my Rams?"
한번 떨어도 본인의 멘트는 기억하죠?
But you still remember your quote, right?
예, 이거
Can you give it a go here?
네, 죄송합니다. 네. 네, 제가 질문을 접겠습니다. 네, 네. 자, 광고까지 찍으면서 진짜
So with that
화제가 되는 T1 아니겠습니까?
commercial going viral, T1 is on a
마무리한
good ride. So you guys have to face Africa next week. How are we going to prepare for that?
지금 아프리카가 기세가 좋은데
Africa, they are having a huge momentum.
이번 시즌 정규 시즌은 좀 1등을 목표로
However,
하고
our
있는데
goal for the split is
다음
hitting the
경기
first
다시
place of the regular split.
꺾도록
So
네.
I will make sure to stop their winning streak and stack our win
저희가
streak.
아직 경기력이 다 가다듬어진 것 같지 않아서
I believe our performance is not as clean as Whistle, so we will try to improve ourselves and come back stronger next week. So this will be the end of the interview with Effort, Faker from T1, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jisun, as usual, for the interview translation and for sticking around for such a long day. It is almost midnight here at LOL Park.
Yeah.
But we made it. We had some pretty interesting games so far today. A long series between Team Dynamics and Africa that Africa were able to reverse sweep, if you can say that, in a best of 3. And then T1 being able to right the ship after a shaky Game 2 against Hanwha Life. Now find themselves on the board, but uncharacteristically, on the eastern side of the standings.
Yeah, I think T1 are going to be okay. We've seen that they have the ability to sub in guys like Kuri, who actually looked pretty good today. I saw his play. It wasn't perfect. I still think Effort is better, but it shows that they have some flexibility in their lineup. The second game draft was a little bit wonky, but I don't totally fault them for it. They were trying something new, and we're going to take a look at the next matchups here. KT up against Gen G, and then Sorewon Prince up against Damwon Gaming. You're going to be casting that one tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be really interesting. I'm going to be joined by Wadid for this, and Gen G certainly didn't look so good against DRX, and now it's KT, who are no slouches, but they had a worrisome time as well against Team Dynamics, if I'm not mistaken.
So.
And now Damwon will be able to see whether they're going to keep their win streak alive or whether it's going to be Solewon that's going to be able to do exactly the same thing. So some exciting ones for our last match of the week, but that will be tomorrow. For now, good night.
World has changed and I am ready to take it on. Told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my hero. Not before everything you've done. You'll always be my hero. Everything you make me listen. I've been so close to freedom to be who I can be. You'll always be my hero. Give me everything I need.
Hello mọi người, vậy là ngày thi đấu hôm nay đã kết thúc. Chúc mọi người hẹn gặp lại mọi người vào ngày mai nha.